Hello, hello, hello. What's that?
What's it called? Bend. What's the bend?
You got Marabou hairpin. The hairpin, yeah. Hello, everyone. How's it going? How's it going? Here we go. QUALI. QUALI, eh? QUALI. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Dan, you asked, how do you become a member on here? If you are, unfortunately, on an Apple iPhone, it's a little bit more difficult because you do not have a join button that is accessible to you on your phones for YouTube. However, you can join through this link, which normally you can select in the description below. So bear with me and I will grab it for you, lovely people. But yes, iPad, yeah, same thing. Any Apple device, unfortunately, Apple, YouTube don't want to pay fees, basically, to Apple for having a subscription option. So, hey Anthony, good to see you. Welcome, Anne. Welcome, Camo. Welcome, everyone. We have got the chat on subscribers only. So, yes, it's mainly just to keep the chat, obviously, as clean as possible. That's the moderator's job, and they do a brilliant job. So, yeah, big thank you to those. As always, we're expecting a good turnout today. I'm not sure why the chat box isn't sorting itself out right now. But let me just see for a second. Where was I going? Where was I going? I was doing something here. No news as of yet, from what I understand. Unless you click the sub anyway. Exactly, Lab. Exactly. From what I understand, there's no update yet on Lewis Hamilton. I think X has gone down, so Twitter. So no update. Yeah, Twitter's down for some reason at the moment. Not entirely sure why. Just when we want to try and find out what is happening out on circuit. But I'm listening to Sky TV coverage in my ear, and there's nothing as of yet on the update from Lewis Hamilton. There was an image, I saw an image of the side of his car, and it does look like the floor of his car is intact. So his car, depending on the gearbox, he should be okay to participate, and they can switch gearboxes over in a decent amount of time now. So that'll be Elon Musk for you. Yeah. Who's got in his nerves this time, eh? Right. Bear with me. Right. So this is the link that you can use to become a member if you're on an Apple device. So I'm not sure how I've got a Samsung, I'm sorry guys, so I don't know how it comes up if it takes you away from the stream, but yes, you can support the channel further by becoming a member and being a part of a pit crew, and we've had a couple of members today, so yes, big thank you to Alan and Robin as well in the close, while the stream was getting prepared and underway, and of course Camo last time around. Thank you guys. It takes you away from the stream. Ah, that's a shame. That is a shame. So, no, I mean, even if you still subscribe and it takes you away from the stream, I do appreciate it. Thank you, guys. But it's the nature, unfortunately, of, memberships and stuff on YouTube. Something I only described not too long ago. Hey, Olivia, you feel awful for Ollie and the penalty. Yeah, it's a shame, but he only has himself to blame. That's the thing. It's all his own doing, unfortunately, because of him. He saw the red flags. It should have popped up on his dash. He just didn't react quick enough. So you missed you announcing joining the pit crew because it took you off. Oh no, Camo. Well, if you go back to the end of the stream, the last one, you'll see. But thank you for going through that link anyway. Much appreciated. It shows you go the extra mile to support the channel. Hey Albertine, love my stream from France. Thank you. What is Frank? Merci beaucoup. Thank you. I forgot what you could tell I didn't do GCSE French. So have Ferrari rebuilt Lewis's car? I think so. Yes. We are yet to find out an exact update, but I looking at the floor, it was intact. It depends on suspension damage. It depends on, of course, the gearbox, but I think he'll be okay. There's no way they're not going to let that Ferrari at least make it to the start grid, which we still have 25 minutes until it does begin. As I said, X is down at the moment, Twitter, so I'm unable to find an actual update. Let me have a look if there's anything else. Maybe the BBC or something might be able to provide us an update. Nothing at the moment. Nothing at the moment. You've been watching for a year now. You started watching every stream since Monaco last year. Oh, it's your year anniversary. Thank you, buddy. Could they use a spare car for Hamilton? No spare cars anymore. No spare cars. Haven't been since, when was early 2000s, I think. Yeah, they removed that quite some long ago. Thank you, Miriam. Welcome. You're always in the stream. Smaller cars. And yeah, you will see in F2 and F3, but there is opportunities for overtakes. But yeah, I only saw bits of it in the background. So, can you see my beautiful family in one frame? Not right now, no. I'm not spinning the camera around, as you can hear them in the background. So,
That's the mother-in-law.
yeah, that is the mother-in-law. You anticipate at least one red flag during quali? Well, Michelle. Yes, I predict a red flag as well, because someone is going to have an incident here. We've seen them be very risk-averse, of course, and we've seen multiple red flags in the sessions, in FP1 and FP2. We didn't get one earlier on, because no one really made that significant of... oh, no, sorry, we did get one earlier. Sorry, I forgot. Lewis Hamilton brought one out at the very end. So we've seen a red flag in every single session. So, yeah, I do suspect they'll be the same as well with these drivers pushing, and obviously impeding is going to be a big factor here, with it being very tight and small circuit. What do I do full time? How do you find time for YouTube? I have a very supporting partner. She supports this stream, as I'm looking at her right now. So yeah, no, she's very supportive. I love F1. It's what I enjoy doing, and yeah, she supports that. My full-time career is midweek, so yeah, Monday to Friday. So what I do in the evenings, my downtime, is doing YouTube stuff, really. Not full-time yet in YouTube, but maybe soon, maybe soon. You're calling it Verstappen will take P1. Well, get your votes in, guys. Get your votes in. We do have a poll available. If I have missed any driver who you think is going to be on pole position, I do apologise. YouTube only allows me 4 options on the poll, and we've got Charles Leclerc with 54% at the moment. Understandably, he won last year, and he has topped every single practice session thus far, potentially going for the Grand Slam this weekend. Lando Norris, 8%. Piastri, 10%. Wow, such little faith in the McLarens, guys. Where has that faith gone? Disappeared after one race weekend. Verstappen, 28% chance. So, yeah, never rule Verstappen out. Anyone know why X is down? No. Do you know what the funny thing is that I will use X to find out why it went down. So... Hey, Oranges! Say, young one you streamed with the other time. Yeah, she's asleep right now. She's having her afternoon nap. Do I think Lewis will make the quali? Who knows, but I think so. I do think so. That car looked a little bit more intact than it initially seemed. It's more about the internal sides. The floor looks to be intact. It's more about the damage that has potentially happened to the gearbox, because side-on impacts F1 cars are not designed to take side-on impacts. Red front row lockout. I'm still sticking to my guns there. Yeah, I'm still sticking to my guns. Who do I want on the podium? I'd love to see a Ferrari front row. Yeah. And who else would I like to see up there? I'd like to see someone outside of the McLarens and Verstappen, to be honest with you. But I don't think it will happen on single lap pace here. But it could happen tomorrow. So. Special track for Leclerc, that's why I think he'll take pole. It definitely does seem to be a track that he grew up here, understandably, but he knows where to extract the time. He has done, even when Ferrari hasn't been a title challenger in previous years. And this season, yeah, Ferrari at certain tracks, in certain conditions, does look to be a quick car. But, yeah, we'll see. Maybe bring back the entire car of last year, yeah. McLaren 1-2. Is attempt good? We don't know yet. Live data will become available to us in a few minutes' time. Once it is, we will change scene. So it's only about 5 minutes away before we get that information. But I do suspect that the track conditions have cooled, as qualifying is a bit later on in the day. That will help with the tyre life of the C6 tyre. We've seen it be a bit peaky here. drivers struggling with grip as they progress throughout their push lap. And then, yeah, we saw that in Imola last week, where they had to be sometimes conservative in the first sector so that they had enough life in the last couple of corners. And, well, Monaco, even though it's not a track that is traditionally hard on the tyres, with this new soft compound tyre, the C6, we could be seeing, even again, a couple of drivers, I think, maybe utilising the medium compound tyre, which is a soft tyre of last year, which, of course, the Aston Martin team did last week to get into Q3. Dan, thank you for becoming Chief Strategist. Thank you, buddy. Much, much appreciated. Top man. Top man. Let me see if that... Does that come up? Hang on a second. Why's my alert box turned off? There we go. Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated. Because I do understand if you're on an Apple device, but it takes you away from the stream, of course, you have to use that link, which is in the description below. So, yeah, big thank you, guys. And Mike has reached 1 month. Congrats, buddy. Congrats. Thank you, everyone, for supporting the channel. It's getting bigger and better, and I do appreciate everyone who continues to tune in. But yes, qualifying not long to get underway. Just under 20 minutes, guys. We're waiting for the live data to become available. Twitter is down at the moment, so we are unable to give you an update on Lewis Hamilton. I am intently listening to the TV coverage as well to discover what is occurring. But yes, it's not working at the moment. Let's have a look. There's an update on Lewis Hamilton's car from the BBC. Ferrari say they have changed the nose, the front wing, the front right suspension, and they've also replaced the entire rear end, including the right-hand suspension and gearbox, as this is a quicker procedure than simply changing the damaged right rear suspension. So quite some extensive work that has gone on to that Ferrari, but he is participating. He has a fully functioning car, hopefully, for today. We have seen, of course, Ferrari have to switch over that gearbox when it comes to overnight from qualifying to the race on Sunday. Remember when Charles Leclerc made his way to the grid and he had to retire before the race began. So yes, Lewis Hamilton has, I'll say that again, Lewis Hamilton has had the front nose changed, the front wing and front right suspension. And to the rear of the car, they have replaced the entire rear end, including both rear suspensions and the gearbox, as it is quicker than simply changing the damaged right rear suspension. So he's got a whole new rear end and he's got a whole new front end, basically. So, and a gearbox. So yeah, fair old whack. Thank you for the subs, guys. Much appreciated. If you think the red flag had a hat-trick of red flags for all 3 practice sessions, yeah, I know. We've had one in every single session here this week thus far. Imagine they use the same configs from last year and then Lewis wins. Oof, I know, hey? We will see. The great thing about Monaco qualifying, it's more to do with the driver than the car. Not many long straights means it takes the top speed out of the equation. Exactly. It's less so on performance, more so on the driver and the confidence of the driver. However, you do still need the car. Of course you do. You still need a car that is quick in slow corners. We have seen cars here that have struggled at slow speed circuits struggle here as well because of that very nature, and that's my intrigue. That's what I'm most intrigued about with Max and Red Bull. We saw him sliding quite a bit on all 4 tyres when he was doing his push laps on the soft tyre. He was actually quicker on the medium than he was on the C6. So could we see Red Bull put on a brand new set of mediums? Because it doesn't matter what tyre you set your lap on, it's all about track position. So if you're quicker on the mediums, you might as well use it. Change out entire sub-assembly rather than a single part. Exactly. Yeah. Anyone else seeing some rain on the weather map? But AccuWeather says it will come around 4 p.m. No, I haven't looked at the weather, actually. Let me have a check and see if what is the weather report for Monaco. I mean, Monaco can change on a dime because, obviously, of those the mountains they've got there, I guess. You see it come over the mountains, don't you? But everything that I'm seeing at the moment seems to be okay. 5% maybe at 4 p.m., but that's it. That's what I just checked at this moment in time. If Max wins this year's World Drivers' Championship, how do you think it would hold up against his 2021 win? I think this year's World Championship would top 2021 because I think he's arguably not had, most definitely hasn't had the quickest car. And it would be, like he has done, he has utilised the performance of that Red Bull to its absolute maximum, with no pun intended. He he has got the most out of that Red Bull he possibly can, even when it's not the fastest car. And he has put the drivers who have the fastest car under pressure, and they haven't been able to deal with it. They've faltered, and that's why he's still within a race win of the championship lead at the moment, 22 points behind Oscar Piastri with that win in Imola, and I think it would top it, because I think this is going to continue throughout this season. I think he's going to be there, and the McLarens are going to take points off of each other at some point. So let's change scene. The live data has just become available. Here we are, guys. So, you asked about track temperature. Well, track temperature is 41.9 degrees at the moment, so that's still hotter than I expected. Oh, wow, risk of rain is 20%? Sorry, what? Where did that come from? What? 20% chance of rain? Unbelievable. Personally, you'd go hard, medium, medium. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, many drivers used a hard compound tyre earlier on. So, any news on Hamilton? Yes, RM, he is okay. He's had extensive body parts changed to his car. He's basically got a whole new front end and a whole new rear end with a gearbox. That side-on impact, I mean, it might look a bit innocuous, but he went in there at a fair old speed. And as we said, F1 cars aren't really designed to take side-on impacts. So, yes, the amount of G and force that was, the amount of G force, I guess, that was put through that car on impact has done a considerable amount of damage. But he's okay. He's okay. Not all free tyres are mandatory. No, they're not. It is, you have to use 3 different types of tyre, with 2 of those being a different type of compound. So that's the tyre compound change rule. So. Is this Monaco or Bahrain? It is scorching. I know, it's very hot out there in Monaco. He changed some of his body parts. Sounds funny. Of the car. But wow, 20% chance of rain for quali. That's a lot higher than I thought so. I thought it was pretty much a clear race this weekend. But yeah, guys, if you are here again and you haven't hit that subscribe button, what are you waiting for? Please hit that subscribe button. Let's get that number at the top right hand of your screen up to 44,000. Actually, let's get that to 45,000. We'll be back, of course, for the race tomorrow with our pre-race show, and stick around afterwards as well to chat about all that occurs in what no doubt is going to be, hopefully, a chaotic Monaco Grand Prix with that 2 pit stops that have been mandated. So how much grid penalty for Hamilton? No penalty, because gearboxes now, I believe, you don't get penalty. There's an allocation. I think there's still an allocation of gearboxes that they can use them, or maybe it doesn't fall within the gearbox an allocation penalty anymore. I know the power units do, and the batteries. But yeah, no, he's fine. All within regulation. So Lewis's car is okay. He's had the front end changed and the rear end changed, as well as a new gearbox, and he is okay. Is it me, or is it easier to root for Piastri than Norris? False. No. Personally, I think you can root for them equally, but everyone has their own preferences of who they support, and that's okay. That's sport for you. There are some teams that you support more than others, and there's drivers and teams that you don't want to do, or players that you don't want to do as well. That's the nature of sport, and that's okay. But it's when people take it too far with the hate and so forth that I don't agree with. What do I think about a new tyre rule? It's needed, Andrew. We mentioned it earlier on and yesterday. It's definitely needed, and I'm intrigued. I still have my expectations low, but I'm intrigued. I'm quietly positive about the race tomorrow. I don't necessarily need to see bajillion overtakes in a race, but I like a race to be intriguing, and I think that's what we're going to have tomorrow. Do I expect the performance of the McLarens to change much when the rules change around flexi wings? No. To be honest with you, I think there's more to the McLaren than just their flexi wings. I think it will impact them for sure, but I don't think it's going to have the effect that many think it will have. But I could be wrong. Could be completely wrong. I'm not in the know of McLaren's design team to know exactly the aero points that they're going to potentially lose from that car. So. You don't have much hope for the rookies on this track. I disagree. I think, then again, who are the rookies out there at the moment? Colapinto's technically a rookie still. Behrman, Hadjar. I don't know. We'll see. I think I think Hadjar's got potential to get into Q3 from what we've seen from the pace of the RB. Lawson actually looks to be quite good, quietly confident here. I think Hadjar may have taken a bit of a hit, a bit of a knock in confidence after yesterday, hitting the wall twice, hitting the barriers twice at 2 different corners. Of course, the first corner and turn 10. So maybe a bit extra cautious when it came to practice sessions earlier. So I'm sure he'll turn it up when it comes to qualifying pace. The rest of them, we know Behrman's got a 10-place grid penalty, so he's got it all to do. Unless he qualifies into Q3, he's going to be starting from last place. So, yeah. Was a new pit stop rule necessary? Yes. If you've watched any Monaco Grand Prix in the last 20 years, last 30 years even, it's needed. Will Ferrari performance change after this race? It will change after this race. This is very track specific. So I think one of the primary reasons why Ferrari are better here is because clearly their high downforce package is very good. But they're also been allowed to run the car lower, from my understanding. I'm pretty sure I read this somewhere from a reputable source. I can't remember which reputable source it was. But a journalist who stated that Ferrari's increase in performance here is that they've been able to run the car lower. And that's been their issue, is that they've had to raise the ride height of their car because they've had issues with the plank wear, as we saw them get disqualified for in China, and with how that correlates with the positioning of their gearbox or something in the car. They've had to change some parts. That's what they've been trying to rectify with some of the updates. And here at Monaco, because of the setup and because of the nature of the track, they've been able to run the car lower than they have been at other circuits. And there's also compromises that are made in setup, in the build of a setup at different circuits, because you still need top speed. Whereas Monaco's unique. It's not about top speed. It's all about cornering performance. So yeah, you can run the car lower than you would to ensure that you've got that performance for the corners rather than focus on top speed. We've got Stroll, Colapinto and Lawson, so we can expect chaotic race tomorrow. That is true. Crashes in the pit lane tomorrow. It's going to be hectic for sure. It's going to be hectic. I think the first couple of laps are going to be very hectic with obviously drivers, no doubts, and teams wanting to make very early pit stops. I'm so intrigued to watch those first 2 laps tomorrow to see who just dives straight into pit lane. Did the FIA add laps to this race since it's a 2-stop race? No, I think it's still 73 laps, isn't it, guys? Isn't it still 73 laps tomorrow, or is it 78? I can't remember how long the Monaco Grand Prix is or was. Twitter's back up. Twitter is back up. So, Colapinto, by the way, earlier on, he was being investigated for an alleged breach under red flag conditions, and he has avoided a 10-place grid penalty. So, no penalty for Colapinto. However, his chances here don't look very good, as he's not doing very well at the moment in this car. Of course, his second race back in F1, crashed in qualifying last week. Will he do the same here? Hopefully not for his chances. Supposedly, if the rumours are true, he only has 5 races. I say the rumours are true. That came out of Briatore's mouth himself, and then he denied it. So, yeah, nothing else to report there. So apparently Carlos Sainz was also investigated for overtaking car 43 under red flag, but no further action. So Carlos Sainz getting away without a penalty there. Cool. Yeah, you're so keen for the start tomorrow. The 2 pit stop rule is going to really shake things up. Yeah, it's a shenanigans. 78 laps. Okay, 78 laps. Yeah, very short circuit here, so that's why it's 78 laps. We have 5 minutes, guys. Just under 5 minutes until qualifying gets underway, and you can see the drivers already with their icons there and their speedos making their way to the end of the pit lane, because track position here is so key. Will we see drivers, no doubts, be in the way of some push laps? Traffic is going to be a factor, and we could see some shockers here go out in Q1. For those fast boys who expect to be fighting for pole position today, it's just about getting through Q1. But, of course, track evolution is still key here. We will see the track ramp up and laps get quicker and quicker. So, getting a lap in from the first time is essential to get a banker, but your banker may still not be quick enough to get you through. Very rarely is it just one single lap here that will see you through to Q2. So, not long to go, guys. Not long to go. They're speedos. I know a tradition is to jump in the pool. You get what I... Speedometers. Speedometers. Hey, Lee. Good to see you, mate. Afternoon. Gearbox change and multiple suspension parts for Lewis. Yes. Yes. What do I think this year... sorry, who do I think can get the new World Championship this year? Yeah, I mean, I still think one of the McLaren boys will win it, personally. I do. I think they will just... I think that McLaren is fast enough at enough circuits. It's clearly the most balanced car across the season. Unless the FIA really issue some technical directives that hamper the performance of the McLaren, I just think that Red Bull isn't going to be quick enough at the majority of the circuits for the remainder of this year to just stay within. But Max himself will get the most he can out of that car. It's more so the Red Bull car itself that I have concerns about, not Max's ability. What are my choices for tyres tomorrow? I don't know, because Ferrari seem to have used all the hard compound tyres, and I would have suspected the hard compound tyre would be your tyre of choice, and then you'd go long and end on the softs maybe. Oh, Rama, thank you for joining the pit crew, much appreciated. But a few members today, welcome, welcome. That pit crew's growing. We need to get a bigger garage, I think. Who do I think will come last here? I think Colapinto. I haven't seen anything that provides me faith that Colapinto is going to drag himself off the bottom here. He seems to have really struggled to find some confidence and pace here. Not ideal, really, for this track to be your second race back in F1, especially after you crashed in Imola. You'd like a big open wide GP circuit like Barcelona that we're heading to next week to round off this triple header. So yeah, that would have been much better for him, but look, you have to deal with it, and we'll see what he can do. But I think he's going to be at the bottom, unfortunately. What do I reckon the top 5 will be? I said the top 5 I think will be the 2 Ferraris, the 2 McLaren, as the top 5 is now, basically. That top 5 that you see on the standings, I think that will be our top 5. Not necessarily in that order, but I do think actually Leclerc will get pole position. What the order will be behind them, I don't know. I'm maybe hoping for a front row for a Ferrari, because I think that will provide us some intrigue tomorrow. But we've got lots of intrigue anyway. But can we have a vote for the 4 drivers at the bottom? Yeah, you can do if you want. Yeah, let's end the poll, shall we? So Leclerc, 56% of the vote. Wow, overwhelmingly. How often will Charles Leclerc have an overwhelming majority for a vote this year? Pole position at for Leclerc. Who will finish 20th in quali? That's what I'm going to do. So, we've got Colapinto. We've got Behrman. Who else do you think? Do you think Bortoletto? And should we say... I think Ocon, really. I don't think the Haas's have looked very good, to be perfectly honest with you. So, best way, Rod, good to see you, mate. Mike, good to see you. Welcome, everyone. We are just 1.5 minutes away, under 1.5 minutes away from Q1 getting underway. If you are yet to hit that like button, please do. Let's get this stream to over 1,000 likes. And if you are yet to hit that subscribe button, please do. Be much appreciated. Trying to get up to 45,000 subs and grow this great community that we have here. And if you want to support the channel further and become a member of my pit crew, you can do by hitting the join button, or link is in the description below. So big thank you, guys. Not long to for probably the most chaotic Q1 of the year. We are 50 seconds away. Plenty of drivers waiting at the pit lane. There is a massive queue as I'm watching the TV coverage right now. Very, very busy pit lane. So who will end up getting impeded here? We are going to see, I think, some potential penalties for impeding. Of course, that does come with it a grid place penalty for tomorrow, and we know how important track position is. Ollie Behrman already has a 10-place grid penalty for tomorrow, so if he wants any opportunity to not start dead last, he will have to make it into Q3 and qualify ahead of 10th place. I'm not going to lie, Haas was already practicing pitting early in Imola. They were indeed, weren't they? They were indeed. But here we go, guys. 10 seconds until the green light is on and pit exit is open for Q1. The most chaotic the most important qualifying of the season. Let's see what we have in store for us. 18 minutes is the timer at the top left hand side of your screen there. Green light, pit exit open, we are underway, and the drivers are not waiting around whatsoever. Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz, the two Williams, got at the end of the pit lane first. How important will that be for their hopes and opportunities today? Williams, who have not been as good as performers as I thought they would be. Alex Albon did have a bit of a few quick laps in practice 3 earlier on, but I still think there's a little bit left to be desired from the true pace of the Williams. Now the C6 is the tyre that we are seeing here. As you can see, the soft compound tyre. Gasly out on the medium. We did suspect, would it happen? Would we see anyone use the medium compound tyre? In effect, last year's soft compound tyre, and well, we see it on both of the Alpine team. Is that going to be the only team out there on the mediums? I do suspect the Aston Martins might try the same trick that they did last week but got them into Q3. Maybe running the softs first and then switching on to the mediums. But yes, let's see what this has in store for us. It's going to be a very, very busy track out there. We are going to be getting, no doubt, probably multiple push laps from these teams and drivers. What we saw in FP3 were drivers doing a push lap, then doing 2 cool down laps. 2. Now, what that does do for this track is it provides a considerable amount of traffic, because if you're going slow for 2 laps, you definitely have to have your wits about you. And these F1 cars, the largest in F1 history, and well, they need to be aware, of course. But let's stay on board with Alex Albon, shall we? Last year, the fastest time in FP1 was at 11.5. Let's see if they're able to beat that off the bat. The pole position of last year was at 110.2, and we do suspect that we will see that beaten today. So let's stay on board with Alex Albon as he makes his way through turn 3, the corner that Lewis Hamilton crashed in earlier on today. But no lap traffic for him to avoid, which is what caused Lewis Hamilton to lose control of his Ferrari. But he is out there, Lewis Hamilton, as you can see, getting that Ferrari fix. So Carlos Sainz is almost 7 tenths quicker than Albon through that first sector. So Albon maybe not switched on his tyres as quickly as you would suspect. And well, it seems that the Williams have most definitely not switched on their tyres as you would suspect, as Ollie Behrman has gone with a 19.4 in the first sector. That is a tremendous first sector from the Haas of Ollie Behrman. If you voted for Ollie Behrman to be dead last on pace alone, well, you could have potentially got that wrong. I'm going to end that poll when you do think, as I suspect, as I suggested, Colapinto will be starting in 20th. But Alex Albon is making his way through the swimming pool section now and through the tight turn 15, where they get very, very close to that barrier. Into Raskas corner, turn 18, hard on the steering angle there through turn 18. Then it's about the throttle exit through turn 19. How is that rear traction in the Williams? And you can see purple sectors being put down all across the board here. As Alex Albon, well, he definitely backed out of it after that poor first sector. 38.5 for him in the middle, as it was 39.7 for Sainz in the middle as well. But you can see the two Haases with a 14.5 and a 15.2. So very slow, actually, in the end. So the first sector seemed to be pretty sharpish, but then the middle sector wasn't particularly quick, because you can see Nico Hulkenberg is going so much quicker, as Hamilton has to come to an absolute standstill there, as he had to let Colapinto by, who is on the medium compound tyre and actually goes quicker than his teammate Pierre Gasly. So Hamilton starting his lap now. Let's see how he gets on. Of course, he'll be wanting to get a decent banker, and that's a bit more like it for Alex Albon. A 19 flat for him in the first sector. That's 2 tenths quicker than Charles Leclerc, believe it or not, guys. We'll see how Lewis Hamilton's first sector time is as he comes down into turn 5, and Lewis Hamilton's first sector time is a 19.4. So this first lap for the two Ferraris not looking particularly quick at the moment. So maybe it is a two lap warm-up here at Monaco, as Lawson goes fastest in the first sector as well. Lots of trading of purple sectors as these teams are getting their tyres up to temperature, and Alex Albon goes 2 tenths quicker to the top of the timing screens with a 1:13.1. But we do suspect we are way off the pace here still, as drivers are getting into the flow of things here at Monaco. Kimi Antonelli quickest in the mid first sector, as Charles Leclerc goes quickest in the middle sector, but only by a tenth over Nico Hülkenberg, and Lewis Hamilton loses a bit of time there as well in that middle sector. It's not a very good lap for Lewis, and I'll be surprised if he can even get it ahead of Nico Hülkenberg at this current stage. And yes, Lewis Hamilton comes across the line, and well, as I said, he's P6 at the moment, so not a good first lap, but we do suspect we will be seeing multiple laps from these drivers on this same set of tyres, as we can see Ollie Behrman go for another push lap now as he makes his way past Lewis Hamilton. But Kimi Antonelli making his way past Lando Norris as Lawson, who got a bit of confidence in him and has been quicker than Hadjar this week thus far, jumps to the top with a 1:12.9. Lance Stroll fastest there in the first sector. Pierre Gasly has had his lap time deleted, it seems there. I don't think that was his proper push lap there. He's still on the medium compound tyre as Antonelli goes second, 500ths back from Liam Lawson, trading places all over the gaff here up on this standings as drivers with 12.5 minutes remaining. Max Verstappen is out there, who just come out of the pit lane, so Max waited quite a considerable time before he started his lap as Oscar Piastri makes his way round the first corner. The two McLarens are on their lap, and Max gets out ahead of Oscar Piastri, who is on a push lap. He'll have to be careful of not impeding Oscar to avoid potential grid place penalties. But let's stay on board, shall we, with the two McLarens and see how they get on, as Lance Stroll could be going to the top of the timing screens here. Oh my goodness, take a picture and frame it. Lance Stroll leads Q1, ladies and gentlemen, with a 1:12.8 as Ollie Behrman goes 1,000th of a second behind Lance Stroll. We can see this track is starting to ramp up. Yuki Tsunoda goes in there into P4. Look at that, the top four separated by less than a tenth at the moment. Pierre Gasly goes into P3. We can see track limits violations for a number of drivers as they're no doubt skipping through the Neville chicane to avoid the traffic that is coming through. But let's stay on board with Norris as he comes through turn 18, Raskas corner. He is in the toe of George Russell as Hülkenberg moves up into P6. No purple sectors for Lando Norris, but there is one for Piastri in the second sector. And Lando goes to the top of the timing screens. Well, 1:12.8. That is a benchmark for sure, as it is their first lap on this set of tyres. And Piastri goes to the top by 0.4 of a second. Piastri found a proper amount of time there and really was able to get his tyres in a decent window on that lap, but he did lose a tenth to Norris in that last sector. But that should be a good benchmark there for the two McLarens, but still lots of improvement here as McLarens are split by Alex Albon. Hamilton fastest in the first sector, though. We'll see how he gets on. He has some traffic ahead of him. Ollie Behrman and Lance Stroll will have to be moving out of the way pretty sharpish as he heads through the swimming pool section, as Charles Leclerc goes quickest in the middle sector and heads through Raskas corner, which is turn 18. So one last corner for Charles Leclerc. A very busy qualifying session here, as we predicted, with 10 minutes remaining, as Charles Leclerc crosses the line and goes fastest, and he does a 1:12.0. Lewis Hamilton crosses the line as well and goes second fastest. The top two are Ferrari, but Isaac Hadjar has gone fastest in that first sector. Max Verstappen is on a lap as well. We'll stay tuned with Max. He hasn't gone fastest in that first sector, but he is second fastest, only second to Isaac Hadjar there. So it's a very good lap on the cards for Max Verstappen as he goes fastest in the middle sector. But how about Isaac Hadjar, who is not far behind? We did wonder if Isaac Hadjar would be able to have a decent qualifying here after FP3. It seemed his confidence maybe took a hit after what happened in FP2 with bringing out 2 red flags. But Isaac Hadjar, a talented Frenchman who has done very well in qualifying thus far this season, could be going towards the top here as Yuki goes fastest in the first sector, as Max does 2 purple sectors there and goes to the top of the timing screens. Our first time under sub 1:12 seconds, and Hadjar goes up and slots in just behind his teammate Liam Lawson, which he has done for the majority of this weekend. How about Fernando Alonso? P3 for Alonso. Oh, that's tasty from Fernando Alonso. Could we see him upset the apple cart here this week in Q3? Of course, the unluckiest F1 driver in history, if you are to believe the Spaniard's words from last week in Imola. Esteban Ocon goes up into P6, and you can see the change of these standings here. They are moving all over the place as we are seeing multiple laps on these tyres. The track is evolving. These tyres are coming into the right window, and I did suspect, really, we would see a little bit more struggles on this C6 tyre than we are actually seeing, but we are seeing multiple fast laps be put here. consecutively. And well, I guess that is the nature of Q1. It's about how many laps you can get in, more so than the quick lap you can do, because his track is going to evolve. Lando looks like he's going to go back to the top of the timing screens here with a very good first and second sector. How much did that traffic affect him as he navigated his way through the last couple of corners? Not so much so, as he goes up to the top with an 11.596. But Oscar Piastri is flying as well. But it's all about just getting through Q1 in a very hectic qualifying session, arguably the most hectic qualifying session we will see all season. Oscar Piastri comes across the start-finish line as Charles Leclerc makes another purple first sector, and Piastri locks out the front two for him and his teammate as Verstappen starts another lap as well. And so many drivers on push laps right now, so many green sectors being put down on the board, so many purple sectors being put down on the board as Albon now moves up into P5. But Charles Leclerc, we'll see how he gets on as he makes his way through the quick swimming pool section, heads up into Rasgas turn 18, signs up into P6 there. Track limits violations left, right and centre for these drivers as they are trying to move out of the way to ensure they don't get penalised for impeding as Leclerc moves up into P2, and we're starting to see some drivers move into the pit lane now to put on a fresh set of boots as Hamilton only moves up into P5 after a poor first sector. His second two sectors were on par with Charles Leclerc, but his first sector is what let him down. But at the moment, it is Gasly, Stroll, Colapinto, Hulkenberg and Hadjar who are in the drop zone. You do suspect there is improvement for both the RB cars, but they are in the pit lane at the moment as George Russell George Russell is at risk here at the moment, isn't he, in P15? Wow. We'll see if George Russell is going to go for another attempt. So you do suspect he will do so, as he only has done 4 laps on this set of tyres. But Max Verstappen, with a purple first sector, does improve, but only by a couple of tenths there as he goes into, stays in P4 with an 11.8. A bit of a slow last sector for Max, 2 tenths down on his previously best. So Max needing a bit more time there in that last sector. But as we mentioned, last year's fastest time in in Q1 was a 1:11.5. We're at that time right now. We do suspect that Q3 pole position will be easy into the low 10s, so still plenty of time out there on circuit at this Monaco Grand Prix. But Colapinto and Gasly, maybe they didn't. Maybe it wasn't a 200 IQ move being on the medium compound tyre, guys, as there are Leclerc and Stroll noted for impeding. That's Charles Leclerc noted for impeding Lance Stroll. That's not good. We've seen that Stroll has also been noted for impeding Gasly, which will be noted after the session. But yes, Charles Leclerc, let's hope he's not going to be penalised for impeding Lance Stroll, of all people. But it doesn't matter what car or what driver it is. Impeding is impeding. But Lando Norris going faster again in that middle sector on the same set of tyres that he started this session with. And he doesn't improve. 2 tenths down there. Lost that 2 tenths in the last sector. Similar to Max Verstappen, actually. Maybe those C6s just starting to fall off as they reach the last couple of corners where they need that rear traction. And desperately, importantly, for George Russell there, he got into P3, 1.5 tenths just back from Lando Norris, and that put him away comfortably from the drop zone, which is currently occupied. As Gasly is not happy on the radio. Not happy on the radio about Lance Stroll whatsoever. As Stroll reports, I thought Leclerc was Gasly, man. I can't see the difference with the sun. So, oh no. Lance Stroll. As Bortoletto gets caught touching the wall, 0 centimetres too close to the wall. Graphic is being displayed on the TV cameras right now. As Oscar Piastri sets another fastest lap there, 11.385. And you do suspect that... Oh, I say do you suspect? Is there 8 tenths improvement out there for these drivers to potentially put Piastri, Norris and Leclerc at risk? I'm not so sure, but you never know at Monaco. So we'll see if they decide to pit. Max Verstappen is in the pit lane with 4.5 minutes remaining, so maybe Red Bull think they are okay and they've done enough to get through, or we'll see a fresh set of tyres put on for Max Verstappen. But Hulkenberg just jumps up. Oh, wow. Okay, maybe there is that much improvement because Hulkenberg just went all the way from the bottom 5 up into P6. So I do suspect that really these drivers need to put a fresh set of tyres on and get back out there, and that is exactly what Red Bull are doing with Max Verstappen. But Charles Leclerc is going quicker once again, an 18.4 in the first sector. Leclerc and Stroll's incident has been noted again as Lewis Hamilton goes up into second fastest in that first sector. He's been slightly off the pace of his teammate in that first sector, but the Ferrari's occupying the fastest two first sector times at the moment, closely followed by Max as Antonelli moves up into P6 at the moment. Ocon, Stroll, Lawson, Colapinto and Gasly are at risk, but you can see green sectors left, right and centre up on these standings, guys, as we're approaching the closing stages of this Q1 session. If you are enjoying this stream and this watch along, hit that like and subscribe button, and you can always join and support as a member as well. So thank you everyone who is supporting this stream. But yes, Charles Leclerc round the last corner. Where can he go? Can he regain top spot? It is only Q1. He's led every single session thus far, and he's looking to do so again. He's led FP1, he's led FP2, he's led FP3, and now he's leading Q1. How about his teammate Lewis Hamilton, of course? Lewis Hamilton pits. So maybe not thinking that time was going to be quick enough with the improvement of the track. Get on a new set of tyres and go back out there. I'm surprised that Lewis Hamilton has dived into the pit lane there. Maybe there was a mistake from Lewis. I'm not entirely sure. He was green in the first and second sector, so there maybe have been a mistake in that last sector, a lock-up maybe, which is why Lewis bowed out of that lap. He is definitely at risk, you do suspect, as Leclerc and Stroll. Good news for Leclerc fans as he is reviewed no further investigations. Lawson only moves up into P13. Hamilton is back out there, so he will get another opportunity, but you do suspect that he will be at risk, and we have seen that the brand new tyre isn't necessarily the quickest here, as Hamilton is shoved down another spot, down into P11 with Yuki Tsunoda in P9. Sainz now at risk. He needs a decent lap here. Alex Albon in P12. He needs a decent lap. Green sector from him in the first and second. Carlos Sainz needs a decent second sector. He's got clear track ahead of him. So Carlos Sainz, it's all down to his driving ability to get himself out of Q1 safely. As Albon goes P4 and pushes Hamilton down another position there. As Carlos Sainz coming through the swimming pool section. Oscar Piastri about to start another lap as well on the same set of tyres as Norris goes quicker than his previous best in the first sector. Max Verstappen is currently holding up Lewis Hamilton there, and well, will they be noted? Will Verstappen be potentially noted for impeding? I don't think so, no, because Verstappen is also on his out lap trying to get a lap in, or is he on an actual push lap? I'm not entirely sure. No, Verstappen is on a slow lap at the moment, so he's trying to prep his last final run. As he is really close behind Colapinto. Thankfully for Hamilton and Verstappen, they have no fast-moving traffic coming up behind them, so they can prep this last couple of corners as nicely as they want. As Hamilton and Verstappen noted for impeding. So Hamilton impeded Verstappen, supposedly. We'll see if that genuinely was the case, but the first sector was quite slow for Max Verstappen as they both start their laps. We'll see. It's all on the cards on the table now for Lewis Hamilton with 1 minute remaining. He will not have another opportunity to set a lap. So Hamilton needs to get this banker in, and you do think with the pace in that Ferrari on a fresh set of tyres, he will be able to get through comfortably, but pressure is on. Oscar Piastri fastest in the middle sector. Will he be able to take away Charles Leclerc's perfect record of leading every single session thus far? No, because he is 0.08 of a second behind Charles Leclerc. Bortoletto is unable to Bortoletto's starting his lap now, so we have drivers starting their final laps here with 30 seconds remaining of this session for drivers to get across the start-finish line to start their final runs. Lewis Hamilton, though, he's a bit slow in that first sector, not able to fire up those soft compound tyres as you would suspect. It's all about whether or not these C6s come to him in the remainder of this lap. Ollie Behrman moves up into P13, and yes, it does seem to be the case because Lewis Hamilton, while he's in P15 at the moment, at risk of dropping out here, he has gone fastest out of anyone in that middle sector with this brand new fresh set of softs. He has a clear run to the checkered flag as Verstappen moves up into P3 and solidifies his position into Q2. And Lewis Hamilton also does the same by slotting into P4. Nico Hülkenberg, will he be able to improve? He does by one position. At the moment, it's Colapinto, Stroll, Alonso, Bortoletto and Lawson at risk. Colapinto is out. He's not going to be able to improve, and he is dead last, as we predicted he would be. Esteban Ocon moves up there. Alonso moves up into P7. Ollie Behrman will not be making it through to Q3 as Norris sets a decent lap in there at the end with the top three separated by less than a tenth. Yuki Tsunoda at risk. No. Up into P10 for the Red Bull, second Red Bull driver as Bortoletto sneaks out of the bottom five. It's all on Isaac Hadjar now. Can Isaac Hadjar? Antonelli has gone off there. There's a yellow in turn 10. Antonelli has gone off, but Isaac Hadjar, where is he at the moment? He's he's improved. Isaac Hadjar has improved. There is a yellow flag for Kimi Antonelli. I'm not entirely sure what has occurred just yet. But I think that is it. And with Kimi Antonelli's crash there, we have seen a red flag, 100% record for red flags in every session this weekend. Still waiting to see exactly what has occurred with Kimi Antonelli. Is it another mechanical issue? Is it a driver error and he's made contact with the barrier? Similar with how Isaac Hadjar crashed yesterday and clipping the wall and just misjudging the width of his car. But Isaac Hadjar, thankfully, got across the start-finish line. And I think cleverly, the stewards there and the race control saw that there were only a couple of drivers remaining to set their laps and they were in safe areas on the track, and well, everyone was able to set a final lap there. Isaac Hadjar got through, but we have lost Bortoletto, Ollie Bearman, Pierre Gasly, Lance Stroll and Colapinto as oh yes, I think Antonelli, so he's actually crashed. Antonelli is actually, yes, into the left-hand side of here. It's stating that he's at turn 11, but really, he is like here, where my mouse is right now. And I think he's done exactly the same as Isaac Hadjar yesterday. He's turned in slightly too early on the entry to the Nouvelle Chicane. He's hit that Armco barrier, and he has gone straight on. And that's going to take a little bit of time here, with no time remaining in this Q1 session for Kimi Antonelli's car to be removed. So waiting to see a replay of exactly what has occurred. Kimi's okay. It is quite a low-speed crash when you head into that corner. Let me see. I will check in a sec, Gabriel. I will find a link for you. I'm watching it now for the first time. So he's coming through the tunnel, down into the braking zone of turn 10 in the Nouvelle Chicane. And what does he do? He does, yeah, but this time he does it with his front left tyre. Carbon copy of Isaac Hadjar, except he's done it with his front left tyre and not his rear tyre. So two rookie mistakes from two rookies over the course of this weekend down into turn 11. Inexperience from those two drivers, just turning in too early, hitting the Armco barrier, and he then has no right-hand steering available to him as he goes straight on into the barrier. Bit of front wing damage, but that will be Antonelli starting from 15th. Tomorrow, because Ollie Bearman has a 10-place grid penalty and he's starting, he's qualified 17th, so no additional position gain for Antonelli tomorrow. So some shenanigans will have to be done, and some outside-the-box thinking will have to be done by the Mercedes strategy team. I'm good at fast speed running commentary. You have to be if you're commentating on this. You really do have to be. Start of Q2 will be delayed, as we mentioned there. So Kimi Antonelli crashed just like Isaac Hadjar did yesterday in FP2. But we have lost Bortoletto, Ollie Bearman, Pierre Gasly, Lance Stroll and Colapinto. Those of you that predicted Colapinto would be starting dead last and qualify P20. I'm just saying, I did, then you were correct. Just like myself, he's starting, well, he won't start P20 tomorrow, he will start 19th because Bearman has that 10-place grid penalty, but there we go. Yeah, so Colapinto doesn't start, let's start dead last, but he qualified dead last. That was the poll. So yes, interestingly there, Lewis Hamilton. So you can see Lewis Hamilton, he rushed out there to get that last run in on that soft compound tyre. Because of that, he did not have the front grip available to set a good lap time through Sector 1. Let's have a look at those sector times. And this is the fastest sectors available that they did. It doesn't necessarily mean they did these sectors in their fastest lap, but these are the fastest sector times the drivers set in Q1. And Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton there, not separated by that much, around just under a tenth from the two Ferrari drivers in Sector 1. Hamilton fastest in the second sector there as he was on that soft compound tyre. That temperature window starting to come into that C6 after he was able to get that tyre in the right window to start the lap. And then Norris and Piastri very supreme in the last sector there. You can see how much time they've made up. Lewis Hamilton down towards the bottom there, a 19.076. So he's got 3 attempts to at least make up on the McLarens after that Q1 session. Max Verstappen, you can see there, not that far back behind. It's all very tight actually in Sector 1. It's only pretty much the first corner that matters there. That determines your first sector time. Sector 2, of course, is a lot more tight, twisty, slower corners. And then the last corner, we have some fast sections with some slow corners where rear traction is really important. important, turn 18 and turn 19. So, yeah, really interesting times there. But we do expect times to get quicker and quicker, guys, as the time progresses here, with more rubber being laid down on track. As the track temperature is slightly cooling, 40 degrees right now it is. It was 42 at the start of this session. And, yeah, it does seem like that there's plenty still left in the tank for these drivers as the track, as they continue to find clearer and clearer air with less cars on track. But Lewis, yes, Lewis has been noted for potentially impeding Max Verstappen. It says it will be investigated after the session. So I'll have a look. Yeah, I'll see if I can find Kimi's little moment there for you guys. I'll see if I can find it. Let's have a look. Trying to see if I can find it. Bit of a shame for Kimi, of course, but he has struggled here today, this weekend in Monaco, and yeah, he's kind of done the cardinal sin of just turning in a bit too early into the Nivelle chicane, and that has cost him. So yeah, shame for Kimi Antonelli. Let's see if I can find. Yeah, I can't find anything at the moment. People are slow on Twitter. No TV images at the moment. Apologies, there's nothing available. No one has posted it as of yet. But if it comes up, I will let you guys know and I'll link it in chat. So just watching Lewis Hamilton and... No, I don't... Is that impeding? I don't know if that's impeding. I think Max is... I get it, because he wants to go to the line there, but Lewis is... I don't know. It's a tough one. He was told. Lewis was told. We'll see. Engineer. The engineer communication there, not very good between Lewis Hamilton and his engineer. He said he was going quick, and then said he was slowing down, and Lewis pushed, and then he may... yeah, it all depends if the stewards like Lewis on that one, to be honest with you. Hopefully he doesn't, because I don't like to see the grid get sorted, especially at Monaco, by impeding. But we did say that, look, doesn't matter who you are, impeding is impeding. So yeah, we'll see. I can see that going one way. I can see that going both ways, to be honest with you. I'll be quite surprised, actually, if he gets away. Actually, no, I'll be quite surprised if he gets away with that, especially with the radio messages. So... no, it's not Xavi. Xavi was removed for Brian, I think it was, which is Charles Leclerc's. I can't remember who his one is. Do I think the rookies are getting too little time to grow in current F1 in general, especially Red Bull teams? Some of them, yes. Some of them, no. Kimi Antonelli has been given a proper training program and test program to get up to speed with Formula 1 cars, which is why I think he has done and fared much better than a lot of the rookies. Of course, sometimes you get in and you just hit the ground running, like Isaac Hadjar. But I think Red Bull missed a trick by not giving... I'm surprised Hadjar... not Hadjar, Lawson wasn't given the same test program as what he was given. As what he was given by Antonelli, or what Antonelli was. So, yeah. That would have helped him massively. So, yeah, Red Bull not doing a good service to their junior program, whereas Mercedes have, and you can look at the performances. Yes, Antonelli was always going to have crashes at some point throughout this season. Last week wasn't his fault with the mechanical issue. Obviously, this one is, but yeah. Impeding is when you slow a driver's qualifying lap when they're on the fly. Exactly, yeah. What do I think of ACC? Nah, it's all right. I've never been really big into the GT3 cars. So yeah, no, it was never really for me. So I can't comment on it too much. Both the Ferrari drivers are getting on top 1 and 2. Well, this is it, Hamad. If Lewis does get to the front row, do they still penalise him? Now, whether he deserves it or not, I think I can see that being given. I think he'll be lucky to get away with it, to be honest. But we know optics. We know there are decisions made based upon optics. It's like if Charles Leclerc qualified on pole, and if he is deemed to be considerably impeding someone, do you think they'll do that? Now, the sport, in fairness, he should. But we know that biasness and the optics of what a certain decision would look like does affect whether it's dished out or not. So Antonelli's tyre got pushed off the wheel via the barrier. No suspension damage. Will they be... yeah, they'll be okay to get him back. No, he won't be able to get back out because they won't be able to get that car back to the pit lane quick enough, I believe. I think if you bring out a red flag now, you are no longer able to participate in the remainder of qualifying. I think that's the... No, is that the rule? No, not if you bring out a red flag. Sorry. If you require assistance to get back to the pit lane, I think that's still the rule. So if you can get back under your own steam and you still bring out the red flag, then you're able to continue in the next session and the remainder of the session. But I believe Antonelli will not be able to participate in the remainder. But we'll see. We'll see. For some reason, the qualifying isn't being streamed on F1 TV. That's interesting. Well, you got it here. You've got it here. And I'm keeping you guys as up to date as possible as we have Sainz and Albon on the medium compound tyre. Green light, pit exit is open. Q2 is underway, guys. We have 15 cars now out on circuit, or will be going out on circuit. Maybe 14, actually, with Kimi Antonelli, as we mentioned. Crashing out there into turn 11 and bringing out a really late red flag, doing exactly the same thing that Isaac Hadjar did previously in FP2, but this time it was his front left, not his rear tyre. But Lewis Hamilton on the medium compound tyre as well, with Charles Leclerc trying to save those soft compound tyres for the remainder of this qualifying session. We'll see if the McLaren drivers do the same as well maybe Max Verstappen. But Lewis Hamilton is being investigated later on for impeding Max Verstappen. We will see what comes of that potential grid penalty coming for him, as there could be for Lance Stroll, who's already starting 19th. Well, he could be starting 18th with Ollie Behrman's 10-place grid penalty tomorrow for impeding Pierre Gasly. But not long to go of this session. Yes, each session gets slightly reduced as we go on. Starts at 18 minutes in Q1, 15 minutes in Q2, and then the last Q3 session is 12 minutes long as Alex Albon starts his first lap here, as he did the first driver to set a lap time here on the medium compound tyre. Norris and Piastri on a set of softs. Verstappen is also on a brand new set of softs, as is Yuki Tsunoda as well. So only the two Ferraris and the two Williams are on a brand new set of softs, and we'll see how they fare. This is the soft compound tyre of last season, remember, guys, as we are a step softer than last year. And if you're enjoying this stream, guys, I know I keep asking it, but if you don't ask, you don't get, and you guys need to be reminded. Hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. We have over 5,500 of you in here right now. Hit the like button and get this stream to over 1,000 likes. It'd be much, much appreciated. And of course, hit that subscribe button and bring us closer to 45,000 subscribers as it currently stands. But yes, let's see what this Q2 session has in store for us. Will we see any shockers? We've already basically lost Kimi Antonelli there as Leclerc does. And what's Leclerc going to be able to set through that first sector? Lewis Hamilton as well will be close behind. We can see that Sainz and Albon, so Albon's going for a second outlap, as we can see from his sector times there, very slow. As Lewis Hamilton does an 18.73, so slightly quicker than Charles in that first sector, but they're still about 2 tenths off of the fastest first sector that they can do, as Isaac Hadjar does an 18.659 there, purple in the first sector, with his teammate going purple in the second sector. Liam Lawson seems to have a bit of confidence here over his teammate, only slightly, but a bit more confidence than Isaac Hadjar thus far, as Charles Leclerc goes quickest in the middle sector at 33.781, and that's nearly quicker than what we saw in Q1, which was set by Lewis Hamilton on the softs, as Lawson goes in there with an 11.646. That's a very good lap time from Lawson, putting him to the top of the timing sheets there. But how about Charles Leclerc? He's going to take that away from Lawson. Yes, he does. A 111.314 on the medium compound tyre. Lewis Hamilton following closely behind, though, as we can see Piastri and Norris on a brand new set of softs on the C6s. They're going purple sectors in the first and second sector, as Hamilton only goes up into P4. What occurred there with Lewis? He had a bit of an issue through the middle sector, it seems, a 34.360. So he'll be on a cool-down lap now and will no doubt go again with plenty of time still remaining in this Q2 session, as Norris sets the first time sub 111 seconds down to 110.95. But how will his teammate fare? No, Piastri has had to back out. Piastri has had to back out of that lap. He was going fastest in the first sector, and well, he's had to back out there with a 47.2 in the middle. So something definitely occurred, maybe a slight lock-up, a bit of traffic. Not entirely sure what occurred, but it seems like that he definitely had to take avoiding action somewhere for that middle sector, as he's going to go again, recharge the battery, and let's see how he fares. Oscar Piastri on his second push lap here on this same set of tyres. Verstappen up into P2, one and a 1.5 tenths, just over back from Lando Norris with the fastest last sector we've seen, as we've got George Russell going very slowly there and has brought out a double yellow through turn 8 as George Russell hit the barrier on the exit of turn 8. And yes, we have our second red flag brought out by another Mercedes, and we're going to see a double elimination from the Mercedes drivers in Q2, starting 15th and 14th. Wow, this is a bad day at the office for the McLaren drivers. What has occurred there with George Russell? I do presume he has probably hit the wall on his throttle exit input, as there is a radio message from George Russell. What has happened, or is it mechanical? He's lost power, so no driver error for George Russell. A second mechanical issue in a weekend, in a row for Mercedes. Last week it was Kimi Antonelli in the race at Imola, and now it's George Russell in the most important qualifying session of the year in P14. The two Mercedes will start 14th and 15th tomorrow, barring penalties from those ahead of them. But George Russell losing power in that Mercedes engine. And that is why he is parked in the most in the most awkward position to be in, inside the tunnel. Oh, this red flag could be... we could be waiting just a little while, guys, while this red flag... for this red flag to be removed, as they will recover George Russell's car. They'll have to wait for the track to clear, as it is now. George Russell being told to try and restart the car, as his icon has come back on. So... he needs to make it back to the pit lane under his own steam, remember, to participate in this session. And will he be able to get the car going again? Red flag for... turn it on and off again, as always, guys. Someone should just give it a whack on the top, you know. But we'll see if he's going to be able to get that car going again. His icon has not disappeared as of yet. I'm watching the TV images, and he is trying to restart the car. And he's shaking his head. He has his head. He has his hands in his head. His head in his hands. And they said, "I think that's game over. Sorry, mate." As George Russell looks like he's having to retire the car, head in hands. Yep, a real shame for him. Nothing that he can do, even though his icon is still there. So it seems a double elimination for Mercedes in Q2, with Antonelli crashing at the end of Q1. There we go, confirmation of George Russell's car disappearing there. Kimi Antonelli is still highlighted on the standings, but he is not participating because he crashed his car at the end of Q1 into turn 11. So yes, both Mercedes bringing out red flags here subsequently in both sessions. We are still at a 100% record for every session this weekend with a red flag. We're going to get a red flag in the race tomorrow, aren't we? Unfortunately, guys. I really hope it isn't the case, but there we go. Wow, George Russell out. We did say it was a struggle for them on pace alone from what we've seen in practice and, well, qualifying, and he is now out. There are so many marshals. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 marshals pushing that Mercedes car. That is an image, ladies and gentlemen. That is an image. George Russell sitting on the halo, sitting in his car while he's got 9 marshals pushing his Mercedes car. He's now got back into the cockpit. He's putting the wheel back on, and they're going to push his car out of. That's a car that's got 9 manpower. 9 manpower from George Russell as he's being pushed out of the tunnel there. That is an image. I'll see. Yeah, that'll be a meme. George has unintentionally become a meme there. I'll get an image for you guys, and I'll be able to show you. Wow, that is quite funny. I mean, you have to get it. I mean, it's a logical thing to do to get him out of the to get him out of the tunnel there. Let's see if I can find it and link it for you guys. Surely someone's put an image here. Someone will have an image very shortly. But yeah, George Russell has lost power on that Mercedes engine. Nothing that he could do. A real shame for him, but it was going to be a struggle by the looks of it anyway. So that is 2 positions that have been guaranteed to be occupied for Q2 removal, not making it out of Q2. So that will be music to potentially Esteban Ocon's and Nico Hulkenberg, who is in this session as well, and Fernando Alonso after his teammate went out. Both of their teammates went out in Q1. But at the moment, Lando Norris leads Max Verstappen by over 1.5 tenths there, with the only time under 1:11 seconds. Piastri was going quickest in that first sector again at an 18.504. So that's purple in this second qualifying. So Piastri was looking to improve, but unlike practice sessions, the red flag, guys, it does pause. So we do get a pause in proceedings. The lap times do not. You don't run out of time, so which is good. So Russell didn't do anything. The engine just cut out. Unfortunately, the engine just cut out. So a real shame. Time to bring out a Mercedes shirt. So I'm waiting to see an image for you guys, just so that I can show you George Russell. Nothing yet from George Russell. So. But yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, we're two subs away from 44,000. There we go, over 44,000. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Thank you. Is there anything for George Russell's image? I can't find anything. Twitter is really slow today. Maybe it's because of what happened earlier, but yeah. Short quality today then with all these red flags. Yeah. Could be a power circuit gone up in smoke. Yeah, well, what we will see tomorrow, though, guys, is we will see some spiciness from the Mercedes team. They're going to have to think outside the box to get their drivers back in it. So this could, for our chances as viewers, have been the best thing. This is very good for us as viewers, because we have Mercedes, a top team, who, yes, aren't quite at the races this weekend, but will have to think outside the box to try and get their drivers a decent result. So they're going to have to potentially split their strategies, pit early, wait till later. I'm so intrigued to see what they'll do. So no doubt the strategy teams will be... pens down, heads down, thinking about what will occur. So Q2 will resume at 44 minutes past the hour. So that is just under 3 minutes time as it currently stands. And you can see the drivers there making their way on their icons on the track map to the end of the pit lane. Lewis Hamilton, of course, at risk. He has not set a lap time yet after bailing out of his first attempt, as Charles Leclerc was 3.5 tenths back from Lando Norris. We'll see if those drivers decide to put on a brand new set of softs, or whether or not they decide to hold on to the mediums. Hamilton and Sainz, as well as who was it? Charles and Albon were on the mediums. Everyone else was on the softs. Woo. Going back to Blue Sky. Stuffy, please start wearing Red Bull merch. You're going to be honest and a little bonkers, but I think some teams may pit lap 1. I think you may be right. Oscar said he got a headache from the strategy meeting. Yeah, I did see that, Dodal. I did see that. So there's so many scenarios they've probably envisaged for. I reckon we could see Plan M, Plan S, Plan T tomorrow. They're going to make their way all the way through the alphabet in relation to what strategy they're going to be following. I'll be very doubtful if anyone has Plan A on tomorrow. It'll be like they're definitely going to make their way through some letters for sure. It will probably be a split strat though for the Mercs, but yes, they got to be creative. 100%. Lewis should put on his scrub set of softs from Q1 and make sure he gets through. Yeah, I think they may do now. Because you now have to take into account that you've got to have another outlap here, but maybe you wasn't predicting. So, yeah, a bit of time lost. But there is still 10 minutes remaining. And as well, you're still at risk. But those drivers down there, Piastri's definitely going to improve. Tsunoda, you expect to do so. There's lots of improvement still out there on track. Track temperature's cooled ever so slightly, 39.7 degrees now. That will help the soft compound tyre last a bit longer. May not help tyre warm-up particularly, but it will help with it operating in its peak performance window for the majority of lap, more so than if the temperature is higher. Did Williams have 2 sets of mediums available? Need at least one for the race? Not sure. I really don't know tyre allocation. We don't really get an update on their tyre allocations until tomorrow, when I show you that Pirelli graphic. So be sure to tune in before the race begins, guys, for our pre-race show, as always, where we'll have a look at the strategy options tomorrow. And boy, do we need to review those strategy options tomorrow. I do wonder... I'm intrigued to see the Pirelli graphic tomorrow, guys. Normally we get 3 options. If we're lucky, 4 options. What do we think the Pirelli graphic is going to look like tomorrow? There's going to be 20 different strategy options, aren't there? Brilliant. I'm really looking forward to that one. You've been here since 24,000 subs. You've been here since 1.8k subs. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all for being here. Yes, this channel has developed. I know the sim racing has been put a bit on the back burner at the moment. I've been focusing on F1, but that's just because I've been loving these watch-alongs and loving the F1 content. And, yeah, haven't had as much time, of course, with work and little one to fit in some sim racing. But I'm hoping to do so in the upcoming future. Now I've got my B licence back in Super Formula, but... we have Q2 ahead of us still as green light is open. And yes, if you guys can hit the like button and subscribe button, as we said, every subscriber brings me closer to bringing this full time for you, bringing you more content, which I know it seems you guys seem to love. So yes. Right, here we go. It is Hulkenberg out there first. So we'll see what tyres these drivers have decided to put on. Alex Albon is still out on the mediums, as is Carlos Sainz as well. How about the Ferraris? Charles Leclerc is on a brand new set of softs. So they've switched off of the mediums. It seems the Ferrari team, yes, Hamilton confirmed they're on a brand new set of softs as well. How about Alonso? Is he going to be on the softs or is he going to be on the mediums? It does seem like the medium isn't quick enough here, so no trickiness. Oh, maybe not. Hang on. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, because Fernando Alonso is on a set of medium compound tyres. Let's see what he can do here. Fernando Alonso, of course, got through to Q3 last week at Imola by going onto those medium compound tyres. What a decision it was for him. But let's keep an eye out on Nico Hulkenberg and Alex Albon. Now, are we going to see times pushing under 1:11 from these drivers? At the moment, it is a 1:12.5 that is in the drop zone for Esteban Ocon, but you do suspect, as we saw at the end of Q1, this track is going to ramp up, and with more clean air, these drivers are going to end up setting quicker lap times. So let's stay on board with Nico Hulkenberg as he makes his way past Oscar Piastri down into turn 5, and well, Nico Hulkenberg... on his first outlap here, does not go on his first run here. Does not go that quick in the first sector. He's quite considerably slower actually, an 18.8 there. How about Alex Albon? Alex Albon is going for a second outlap, as he has done so often. As is Carlos Sainz going to do the same? No, yes, Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon doing 2 outlaps here, 2 warm-up laps on this set of mediums, which does seem to have worked for them. But Charles Leclerc is thinking of doing no such thing. As you can see, his red icon there, absolutely flying for the first corner there. A corner and a sector where he has been tremendously quick, quicker than anyone else. Topped every single official session this week. FP1, FP2, FP3 and Q1. Can he do it and get the Grand Slam and do top Q2 as well? Well, here we go. An 18.446. Purple again in the first sector from Charles Leclerc. He is a man on a mission. How about Lewis Hamilton? He is at risk, and he is not that far behind from his teammate in that first sector. If Hamilton hooks it up, it should be a comfortable front row lockout from what I've seen thus far from the Ferrari team, and that is crazy for me to even utter out loud. But Charles Leclerc is possessed at Monaco. He got the monkey off his back last year after so many failures at his home circuit, and well, it could be exactly what he needs to win back-to-back Monaco Grand Prix. A 33.485 from him in the middle sector. It is only Q2, but this is a marker that Charles Leclerc is laying down right now to the rest of the field. You have to come and beat me, because I am not beating myself, as he comes across the line with a 1:10.581. That is an obscene time, Charles. We are only 3-4 tenths off of pole position of last year. And it's only Q2. Lewis Hamilton moves up into P2. There, 3 tenths behind his teammate, and that's a solid lap time from both the Ferraris, but you do suspect will comfortably see them through into Q2. As Oscar Piastri is going green in the first and second sector, he has yet to set a lap time, of course, with his first lap being interrupted from an issue, from a mistake, and then his second lap was interrupted by the red flag that was brought out by George Russell as he slots into P4 there. Another time under the 1:11 second mark of 10.96. 1:09.61. Not a lot to separate the two McLaren drivers at all as Lando starts his second push lap here. How about Alex Albon on his first time lap on the mediums? He pushes Verstappen down into P6, who is interestingly not come out of the pits yet. He is biding his time, he's being patient and waiting for maybe a clearer track and wanting to put on maybe a fresh set of boots. As we can see, Carlos Sainz only moved up into P7 there, but he's on the medium. So that bodes well for the two Williams drivers. How about Lawson? Can he improve here? No, sorry, he's starting his lap. Lawson is starting his lap. So we'll keep an eye on Liam Lawson as his teammate is in the pit lane as it currently stands. So at the moment, it's Tsunoda, Ocon and Hülkenberg who are in the drop zone. It's green sectors across the board here at the moment for those who are on their flying laps. And I tell you what, Lando Norris has almost matched Charles Leclerc's first sector time there. That is a tremendous first sector from Lando Norris as he is on the second run on this set of tyres, as Charles Leclerc is going to go again as well. And we'll see if he can improve on his second run. We have seen this C6 tyre get quicker and quicker in qualifying. So the first push lap isn't sufficient enough to take so much life out of these tyres as Lando goes very quick in the second sector again. And he's going to be just behind Charles, I believe, at this moment in time. No! Wow! Pips him with a mega last sector. That last sector, he's stuck nearly a tenth on Charles Leclerc in that last sector. The McLaren in Lando's hands in particular through the last sector seems to be tremendous on rear traction. We'll see how Oscar Piastri fares as he attempts another go as Verstappen makes his way out of the pit lane now with 4.5 minutes remaining, guys. If you can hit that like button, it'd be much appreciated. Let's get this stream to over 1,000 likes with 7,500 of you in here. Much appreciated. As Lawson only moves above his teammate into P9. The RBs, it'd be tremendous if they can get a double Q3 qualification for them. But with the Williams in the pit lane now and no doubt coming out onto the soft compound tyre, we should see improvements from both of those with Albon in 5th and Sainz in 8th. We can see that Hadjar has been moved down by Yuki Tsunoda, his former teammate there in P10. Improvements to be made by Yuki Tsunoda, who has struggled with the balance once again here this weekend, but it is a track he does have confidence at and has scored considerable points at in the past. So hopefully that confidence does shine through for the Japanese driver. But Lewis Hamilton, is he able to improve there as he comes across the finish line? And no, he wasn't. He did set a green first and second sector, last sector, but sector 2 was a bit off the pace for him. He lost a tenth in the middle sector, which is why he lost a bit of time there. But at the moment, not a lot to separate those top two, Norris and Leclerc, at this moment in time. Let's see anyone else out on the lap at the moment. No one else is on the lap at the moment other than maybe Fernando Alonso. We'll stay on board with him as he's on a set of medium compound tyres. I'm surprised that they're not going to the softs, but as we saw in Imola, it worked for them then. Will it work for them this time? And 18.6 is a fair decent crack at Sector 1 on the medium compound tyres. So we'll see if those tyres last to the end. You do suspect they will be the soft compound tyre of last year. But Max Verstappen on a brand new fresh set. Let's see how he fares through Sector 1. Is it purple? And well, it's not purple just, but there is, I kid you not, I'll show you the sector times afterwards. There is 0.02 of a second separating the top 4 through the first sector. As you can see, Charles Leclerc is mega quick again. He's improving again. I'm lost for words for Charles Leclerc around this circuit. Honestly. Oh, he doesn't improve. He doesn't improve there. That last sector was just off the pace. Lando Norris seems to be flying again as well. That first sector and that second sector is pretty decent. Let's see Max Verstappen at 33.799. He's lost a considerable amount of time in that middle sector, Max. Not entirely sure what happened there as Fernando Alonso stays in P7 at the moment. Isaac Hadjar is out there on his outlap. We'll see how he fares. Max Verstappen, though, you do suspect even if this lap isn't particularly great, he will be comfortable when he moves up into P3. So yeah, lost a chunk of time in the middle sector there, Max. Not entirely sure because that first sector and that last sector was very good. But that will see him through comfortably into Q3. And you do suspect, really, Hadjar, Hülkenberg, Ocon, Tsunoda, Lawson. Those are the 5, really, who are fighting it out to get through and fight for these last few positions into Q3. But we'll see how they fare. Yuki Tsunoda on an outlap as it currently stands. There's 1 minute 30 seconds for these drivers to get to the start-finish line and start their lap before the checkered flag comes out. So let's stay on board with Esteban Ocon, shall we? He'll be the first driver to start... Oh, sorry, apologies. Nico Hülkenberg Hulkenberg is the first driver to set his final lap here. Let's see how he fares. He's got a cheeky little toe, you would suspect, from Max Verstappen as he heads through the tunnel. Max moves out of his way to ensure he doesn't get any impeding. Of course, Lewis Hamilton is being investigated after the qualifying session for impeding Max Verstappen, so potential penalty, grid penalty coming his way. But Nico Hulkenberg, he is focusing on himself right now as Charles is in the pits. He is safe, no doubt, as Alonso moves out of the way to allow the Stake F1 driver through. He's going green. Green in the first sector, green in the second, as Hadjar's gone purple in the first sector. Isaac Hadjar, unbelievable first sector from him, as Alex Albon's gone purple in the first sector as well. There is so much grip appearing out there right now on these fresh set of softs from these drivers as we are approaching the closing stages of Q2. 30 seconds remaining as Nico Hulkenberg can improve, but it's only good enough for P12. Let's see where Esteban Ocon can go. He's green in the first sector, he's green in the second. Let's see how he fares. Is it enough to drag him out of the bottom 5? As Alonso says, he hit the wall nearly. I think Alonso is going to be safe here. He is waiting. He's waiting on the edge as he gets. Oh, as Esteban Ocon moves up into P8 and pushes Tsunoda into the bottom 5. Tsunoda could be going out here. As Lawson, you do believe Lawson has. I think that's confirmed, but Lawson has made his way through. As there is only Hadjar and Tsunoda who can improve now. As Hadjar gets through into Q3. What a drive from the Frenchman. As Albon moves up into P3 there, a 10th behind. It is now Lawson is waiting for Tsunoda to cross the line. He's yellow in the first sector, he's yellow in the second sector, and Yuki is out of Q2. We've lost George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, and Yuki Tsunoda, and Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz crossed the line and is out as well. Ocon sneaks through. We have lost Sainz, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Russell, and Antonelli from Q2. Wow. What a closing stage to the Q2 there. Unbelievable. What the hell happened there? What the hell happened there with Carlos Sainz? I took my eyes off him for a second. I thought he was still on his lap. And, well, Sainz in P11, Yuki Tsunoda in P12, Nico Hulkenberg 13th, George Russell 14th as Piastri crosses the line there at the end and pushes Max Verstappen down into P5. But Alex Albon there on a fresh set of tyres just showcased that this track has still a lot of pace in it. Wow, guys. Wow. Hadjar and Lawson through. That's what Lawson needs. A good amount of confidence here. He has just been pipped by Hadjar at the end, but Hadjar was on a fresh set of tyres, so there is that to take in consideration. But a double Q3 for RB. Another Q3 performance for Alonso on the medium compound tyre. Has he played a blinder here? Aston Martin saving a fresh, brand new set of softs, no doubt, for Q3. If they'd used the softs there, then there's most doubtedly they would not have been able to use them in Q3. Wow. Wow. The top 6, indeed, guys. The top 6 separated by 3 tenths. The top 6 separated by 3 tenths, but I do suspect that we are going to see a proper showdown in Q3. Charles Leclerc, unfortunately, unable to have a clean sweep of topping every single session as he is in P2 by 11 hundredths of a second back from Lando Norris. But wow, sorry, 100th of a second. I'm talking 11 thousandths of a second, aren't I? Getting my maths wrong there. Charles Leclerc, yes. I mean, I do think it's a shootout between Leclerc and Norris, you know. I think I said that earlier on, as Q3 will start 3 minutes past the hour, guys. 3 minutes past the hour. So we have a slight delay here. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe that's just because... That's not a delay, is it? That's the usual delay that we have between sessions. That's just because, of course, with the red flags we've had, everything has had to be pushed back slightly. Sainz will still get points, though. Have faith, although now he'll get grumping Sainz again, yeah. Slowson, stop being slow for whatever reason. Tsunoda is driving with updates from 23 season. What the heck? Yeah, so Tsunoda doesn't have the same parts as Max, so there is that to take in consideration. But he has been out-qualified. I guess it proves the car. I mean, it proves the point as what we initially said, that the car is the issue, not necessarily the driver. He's been out-qualified by 2 RBs. So, yeah, the RBs is most definitely a more solid and stable car. Whereas, yeah, Tsunoda struggling with the balance of that Red Bull. But he's kind of got himself to blame because they had to have change of spec and chassis, so forth, and go to an old spec, I believe, because of his crash in Imola, which was obviously of his own doing. So, yeah. Once Science is done racing, I hope he joins the team, helping with strategy and stuff, because he's a bit of a wizard at that. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, I will have to have a look back at it. I don't know if Science was in a poor track position there. It looks like from what I caught at the end, I think he had clean air, and I think it was just his own mistakes. I just don't think he was quick enough there. He was on a fresh set of tyres, so he should have comfortably gone through. So, yeah, I think Science there, you have to blame the driver, unless there was some traffic that caused him to end up further down. Will we finally get a session with no red flag? Fingers crossed. we've had 100% record for red flags in sessions at the moment. But yes, we are about to approach, guys. We are about to experience the most exciting qualifying of the season, the qualifying session. Q3 at Monaco. It's like the back nine at the Masters on Sunday. There is something special about it, so I hope you're ready. Hit the like. Thank you for over 1,000 likes, guys. Much appreciated. Who will be on pole position? You guys overwhelmingly predicted that Charles Leclerc would be, with Max Verstappen in second. Max needs to dig deep by the looks of it from his lap times at the moment. It does seem that Norris and Leclerc are the two that will be fighting it out, but never rule Max out. Could we see a shocker? Could we see someone like Albon there mix it up with the big boys and have an unexpected starting position? Who knows? But 10 drivers, we have Norris, Leclerc, Albon, Piastri, Verstappen, Hamilton, Hadjar, Alonso, Lawson and Ocon are going into this Q3 session. We will see what is going to occur. It is the mother-in-law in the background. That's all right. The little one's about to be fed, so they're discussing dinner time for her, so yes. Oh no, Science, yeah, no grip on this tyre. So Science struggling with his tyre prep there, as we did see from the Williams team in particular. They had to do a couple of outlaps, didn't they, on that medium compound tyre. As I'm watching Esteban Ocon, and we're through, and Ocon. I remember what I said about the Haas team. They either get one car right or they get the other car completely wrong. So yes, Ocon through to Q3. This time around, it's him that is getting through, whereas Imola was a terrible performance for the Haas team, of course. Sector times. Yes, I can show sector times here. And well, look who's top. Alex Albon, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Albon is in Q. Is at the top. That is unbelievable there, isn't it? That is unbelievable. Williams with podium this weekend via Albon. I mean, he is the driver who is leading that team at the moment. Sainz only has himself to blame, of course. I mean, he clearly didn't get those tyres in the right window. His outlap wasn't sufficient enough, as we've seen so often from these Pirelli tyres. And yeah, he suffered because of it. But Alex Albon fastest there at the end on a fresh set of tyres, which is why he went fastest in Sector 1. Norris, this is where Norris has got the better of Leclerc at the moment, is in the last sector. He has tremendous rear traction and is making up a 10th on Leclerc in the last couple of corners. So yeah, that's really where it could be won or lost here, because they seem neck and neck across the remainder of the track. So, moments away until Q3 gets underway, guys. I hope you've been enjoying this stream. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow for our pre-race show, looking at the numerous strategy options that are going to be on offer for us tomorrow with the new two-stop mandatory rule, or tyre compound rule that has been introduced here this year. Of course, teams like Alpine will be looking to do something outside the box, as will the Mercedes team, as they both went out in Q2 there. George Russell P14 and Antonelli P15. So thank you for tuning in, as always. Yes, hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Over 7,000 of you here, as again, thank you. Someone should be ashamed of himself. I don't think so. But he shouldn't be ashamed of himself, but he'll be kicking himself, that's for sure. So, loving the family vibes in the background. It's a family-friendly stream, guys. It's a family-friendly stream, so yes. Could I imagine Albon starting pole in Monaco? I don't suspect... I can imagine it, but I can't suspect it will happen. But yes, the sector times, that's what we do here. We dig a little bit more into the data and the detail of what is occurring. So, right. Here we go. Here we go. Oh. Who's going to cause a red flag this time? I know. Who's my prediction for top 5? I'm still predicting, ladies and gentlemen, I'm still predicting... I'm changing my mind now. I'm going to go Leclerc pole position. I've always stuck with that. Leclerc pole position. Norris second. Piastri third. Max fourth. Lewis fifth. I just think Lewis might lose a bit of time. I'd like to see him start on the second row. I'd like to see him and Verstappen actually line up on the second row. But I do think it's Norris and Leclerc fighting it out for pole position. That's what I do suspect. That's what I think, just from what we've seen in qualifying thus far. But look, we know Norris has faltered when it comes to that pressure lap in Q3. So will he do the same here again? Not long to find out. But Charles Leclerc seems to be a man possessed here. He wants back-to-back wins. He waited so long for his first win at Monaco. And it's just like London buses. You wait for one for an age, and then two come in quick succession. So yes, Charles Leclerc, I think, is going to be putting himself in prime position for tomorrow. But we don't have long to find out. Guys, only 11 minutes until this Q3, the most important qualifying session, the most exciting qualifying session of the year. Oh, let's see, guys. Say hello for the mother-in-law. Yeah, she's all good. Little one is 7 months old, coming up to 8 months old. So you're predicting Hadjar will qualify in front of Max. That'll be really interesting. But right, here we go. Let's keep an eye on Alex Albon, shall we? Everyone on the soft compound tyre. We have a few drivers out there on a set of used softs, by the way, guys. We have, at the moment, Alonso is on a set of used, as is Hadjar, as is Hamilton, as well as is Alex Albon's not out of the pits yet. He came back into the pits. Why did Albon come back into the pits? That's a bit strange and odd that he came back into the pit lane. But yeah, Alex Albon was on a set of used. I wonder if they're going to switch him onto a brand new set now. But yes, a few drivers out there on a set of used soft compound tyres, and Alonso is going to be the first driver here to cross the start-finish line and set a push lap, I believe. No, sorry, it's Esteban Ocon, I think. But Ocon is doing a second out lap, as we have seen from the medium compound runners here. Wow, Albon's gone onto a set of mediums. Interesting. Albon onto a set of mediums, so maybe they're thinking about the bigger picture in the race tomorrow, Albon, or maybe, yeah. So we'll see how they fare on that medium compound tyre. But Piastri has just set an 18.302, the fastest first sector we have seen from anyone in qualifying today from the McLaren driver, the championship leader at the moment. Let's see how he fares. Hamilton's on his push lap as well. Let's see if he can beat Piastri's first sector time. No, he's a 10th off, exactly a 10th off. How about Charles Leclerc? Of course, as we mentioned, a man possessed today. Is he going to take pole position here today as Max Verstappen is out of the pit lane? He's going to be one of the last drivers to cross the start-finish line. As Hamilton, we'll see how he fares, and keep an eye on Oscar Piastri there. Piastri, a 33.639, not the quickest time we've seen through Sector 2, so he's lost a bit of time there, Oscar Piastri. Let's see how his teammate fares, as Norris was also a 10th down on his teammate in the first sector, but he's made that time up and some more in the middle sector with a purple, 33.473, as Piastri sets a 110.531. Still not the fastest time we have seen, I think, with Lando Norris's time in Q2, but Lando Norris could be going quickest here. Let's see, is it provisional pole for Lando? It is at this moment in time, but only by 600ths of a second, just under 700ths of a second. How about Lewis Hamilton? No purple sectors from him. Half a second back for Lewis Hamilton there. Lost a considerable amount of time through the middle sector, it looks like, and the last sector as well, especially compared to the McLarens. How about Charles Leclerc? No purple sectors from him. It's all about this last sector for Charles Leclerc, and he only goes P3. Oh my goodness. Where have the McLarens found that lap time in the last sector? That last sector, they have just stuck a 10th and a half on the rest of the field. That traction on the McLarens really coming to the forefront there in the last couple of sectors. But let's stay on board with Max Verstappen, shall we, as he is on his lap. He's done an 18.411. It's all about Max Verstappen now. Can he get into provisional pole or line up and split the two McLarens as he is looking to fight his way back into this championship lead? 22 points behind Oscar Piastri at this moment in time. That's less than one race win. Fernando Alonso comes across the line and moves up into P6, pushing Hadjar down into P7, who has only done a lap on considerably used soft tyres, as Lawson goes up into P7 there, the last of the runners who have actually set a lap Let's stay on board with Max Verstappen. And, well, it's a 33.601, so he's lost a bit of time as well in that middle sector compared to the McLarens. How does he fare in this last sector? Does he have the rear traction in that Red Bull? We have seen it struggle through the slower corners this week and throughout this season as Verstappen comes across the finish line. And where does he go? Full fastest from Max Verstappen. He splits the two Ferraris, 2 tenths back from the 2 McLarens. And, whoa, that is impressive from the 2 McLarens. We're still 2 tenths back from Lando. We're still 2 tenths back from the fastest lap time of last year from pole position, which was a 10.2. Apologies, the little one has just realised she's got no more food left as it's dinner time. But thank you to everyone for tuning in as always. So yes, Lando Norris is on pole position at the moment. Provisional pole 10.464. Oscar Piastri is in P2. Leclerc P3. Still some time to be found for Charles Leclerc there. Verstappen in P4. Hamilton 5th. Ocon 6th. Alonso 7th. Lawson 8th. Albon 9th. And Hadjar is in 10th. Is that a baby? It is a baby, yes. It's my daughter. She's being fed. Well, she's just finished feeding actually. Right. Woo. Woof. I do. Yes, I do. Yeah. I do have a lovely daughter. Yeah, so 7 months old. Oh, right. Well. Why is everyone in the pit lane? Because they're putting on a fresh set of tyres. So yes, still a lot to be desired here from a number of drivers, especially those behind the McLarens. I didn't expect really Leclerc to be that far off Piastri and Norris. Where did he lose time? I think he lost quite a bit of time in the last sector. The middle and last sector was where he lost his time. Compared to Lando Norris. So we'll see. But the McLarens at the moment are they're making so much time up in that last sector. Remember when Verstappen not snatched pole position, but he had that mega last sector and took pole position away and everyone was in awe by it? I feel we're seeing that from the McLarens in that last sector at the moment. So Lando's transponder moves to the front of the grid in the last sector. Is Lewis still going to get a grid penalty? We don't know. That will be reserved for the steward's decision after this session ends. I think he'll be fortunate to get away with it, to be honest with you. But we'll see. We'll see. But thank you, guys. Yes, where is the Ferrari gear? I made a deal with you guys that I wasn't going to wear the Ferrari gear. So, yes, that's why it stayed in the wardrobe as Albon comes back into the pits again. Interesting. So we have 4.5 minutes remaining. So the McLarens are out there doing their outlap. We'll see how they fare. Maybe they think they can get 2 viable laps in on this set of tyres. We have seen it. We have seen this tyre get quicker and quicker. So they will have enough for a push lap and a cool down lap and then another push lap when it comes by the time the timer finishes here. So Oscar Piastri currently 600, well, just under 700ths of a second back from Lando Norris. Every pole position this season, guys, including sprint pole, has been separated by less than 1/10 of a second, and I don't doubt it is going to be the same here as well. So close is the performance of these drivers and these cars at the moment. But Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris are on their flying laps again for the second time round in this Q3 session. Lando Norris on provisional pole, only by the slightest of margins from his teammate, as Oscar Piastri goes purple in the first sector and 18.229. He improves on his purple first sector like he did the previous time around, but Lando Norris goes even quicker by 7,000ths of a second. It's neck and neck between the two McLaren drivers. The levels of performance here is unbelievable as what we're seeing in Q3. Charles Leclerc really has it all to do to beat these McLarens. We thought that maybe they had plenty in their back pocket, but they wasn't showing their full hand in practice. And well, when it matters in Q3, they are coming to the forefront here. A purple middle sector for Oscar Piastri as well, but will Lando be able to respond? There's thousandths of a second separating them at the moment on this lap. Sector 2, as Lando loses, importantly, a 10th on Piastri in that middle sector, but will he have the grip for the last couple of corners where he has been supreme today, as Piastri comes across the start-finish line and takes provisional pole by a further 3/10, and that's faster than last year's pole position. But how about Lando? Can he get pole position and take it back from his teammate? He can, by 1500ths of a second. Oh, what? Sorry. 15 thousandths of a second, a mega last sector once again. He stuck 1.5 tenths on his teammate in the last sector, an 18.469 compared to an 18.6, and that is the difference there. Piastri, 15 thousandths of a second, apologies guys there, miscalculation again, to be behind Lando Norris. Thank you for becoming a member as well, by the way, Dana, much appreciated, and welcome everyone who is new to this stream. 9,000 of you here at the moment. Please hit the like button and get this stream, and hit that subscribe button as well. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, for an intriguing race where we're going to have 2 pit stops, hopefully 2 pit stops, barring any red flags. But let's stay on board, shall we, with Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc and see how they are going to fare. Charles Leclerc going for back-to-back wins here, but he needs to dig deep to beat those 2 McLarens because they are unbelievable at the moment. And guess what? The McLarens will have another shot at it, I do believe, on this cool-down lap right now. So let's see if they can even improve. But let's stay on board, shall we, with Lewis Hamilton at this moment in time as the 2 RB cars are improving. They're down in 9th and 10th place. Very good first sector from Isaac Hadjar, as he has done all week. And Lewis Hamilton is not that far off. He's a 10th behind the McLarens in Sector 1. It'll be a very tall order for Lewis to get on pole position, but of course he's trying to start as far up as possible here at a track that is nigh on impossible to overtake. As Charles Leclerc does an 18.290. He is only a couple of hundredths behind the McLarens in Sector 1. It is on still here, pole position for Charles Leclerc, but the McLarens are going again as we predicted. Can they improve? We'll keep an eye on their sector times as they make their way through Sector 1. Lewis Hamilton, though, through the swimming pool section as Oscar Piastri goes even quicker through the first sector. An 18.170. He's just chucked another 10th on his fastest first sector from previous. Can Lando Norris do the same? He can't. He's a few hundredths behind Oscar Piastri, so advantage Piastri. Verstappen's also on a very quick time as well. We'll keep an eye on him as he heads for the Neville chicane. As Lewis Hamilton can improve, but it's only P3 for now, and that is not going to be the order as it currently stands. As Charles Leclerc makes his way round the last corner of 33.180. This could be provisional pole for Charles Leclerc. It's to the throttle, through to the finish line. He does. He's on provisional pole. But Oscar Piastri is improving, but he's slow through that middle sector again. I think that time he gained in the first sector, he's just lost. It's all about this last sector for him. But Lando is improving here. He's green in the first sector. He's green in the second. It's about this last corner. It's going to be neck and neck as they cross the finish line here. No time remaining for the McLarens. And Piastri stays P3. He cannot go any further. He is in P3 tomorrow, starting on the second row. Max Verstappen's P5, but Lando, can he get pole? He can! By a 10th, a 1.09954. Lando Norris is your pole position for the Monaco Grand Prix tomorrow. Fernando Alonso is in P7, Isaac Hadjar's in P6, and wow! What a unbelievable lap there from Lando. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the first time we have seen this season pole position be separated by more than 1/10. Charles Leclerc, heartbroken, but an unbelievable lap from Lando Norris there to be in P1. I did predict it would be a shootout between the McLaren driver and Charles Leclerc, and well, Charles, he tried, but that McLaren just holds on to its tyres that much better in the last sector, and McLaren is on P1 with Lando Norris trying to chase down, of course, his teammate who is 13 points ahead in this World Championship. Oscar Piastri is in P3. Lewis Hamilton starts on the second row ahead of Max Verstappen, who unfortunately was not able to improve on that last lap there. So the Red Bull on that lap, not able to improve, 7 tenths back. I think that's the largest margin this season we have seen Max Verstappen back from pole position. Isaac Hadjar, once again, W's in chat for Isaac Hadjar. Best of the rest in P6. This Frenchman is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Isaac Hadjar, P6. Fernando Alonso, the wiry old fox, in P7. He loves it round here. Esteban Ocon in P8. Liam Lawson in P9. Finally, a Q3 performance from him. And Alex Albon, unable to improve there at the end, will start only one position ahead of his teammate Carlos Sainz, who will be in P11. Yuki Tsunoda starts P12 tomorrow with Nico Hulkenberg in 13th. A good performance from the Stake F1 driver, benefiting from the double retirement from this qualifying session from George Russell with that mechanical failure, his engine cutting out, and then Kimi Antonelli putting it into the barrier, clipping turn 10, just like Isaac Hadjar did in practice yesterday in 15th. Bortoletto will start 16th 16th. Ollie Behrman will start at the back of the grid tomorrow with that 10th-place grid penalty afforded to him for that red flag infringement in practice. Gasly in 18th, Stroll 19th, and Colapinto in 20th. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your Monaco Grand Prix grid for tomorrow. What a qualifying. What a qualifying. Whew, thank you, Renault. Much appreciated. I tell you what, my brain was going so quick there. I'm going to have to go back and watch what even I was saying. I think my mouth was moving too quick for my brain to think. I was speaking unconsciously. Wow. What a qualifying. That is I said it would be between Leclerc and Norris. I was hoping it'd be a front row lockout for Ferrari. But yeah, that is tremendous there from Lando to stick a 10th for the first time anyone this season on especially his teammate. He's just nearly stuck 2 tenths on his teammate there in P3. But it's not job done. It's not job done. He needs to get the start done tomorrow, leading to turn 1. Charles Leclerc will be chomping at the bit, of course, to get into the first corner as quick as possible. And, of course, we still have the unknown of the strategy tomorrow. Woo! I was getting some Murrayisms in there. Stuffeyisms, not Murrayisms. Who on here is watching Monaco, Indy, and NASCAR tomorrow? Yeah, hunker down, guys, hunker down. It's a great weekend for motorsport. Thank you for everyone for tuning in, by the way, and all the new subscriptions as well. Wow, hundreds of subscriptions that have flown in. Big thank you. I think we're on course to hit 45,000 subs tomorrow, so big thank you as always, and those likes. But whew. What about Hamilton? Hamilton starting on the second row isn't bad. It isn't bad. So, you're a fan from South Korea. Welcome, buddy. If I could read Korean, I would read out your name. But apologies, I don't. Well, P1 compared to P2. Who gets the inside line at turn 1 will decide the winner tomorrow. So, I believe... What is the race start of Monaco? The outside... P1 starts on the inside, does it? I can't remember. But that was super close. That was super close there. Oof, but yeah, I mean, strategy is going to be interesting tomorrow, of course. It's all about when they decide to make those pit stops. You started watching F1 from Saint Singapore, 23. Been a biased fan of him and his brain since. It hurts like hell. He'll watch Fall from Grace. No. Max is 5th, 7 tenths down. That's how much Gasly was in behind an 18th. Yeah, I mean, that is the largest margin. That's the largest spread we've had, I think, in the top 10 for quite some time. And that's the largest margin Max has been behind P1, I think, all season. So, yeah, the Red Bull, not sure. I'll have to have a look at some replays and see if there was an issue with him there or something like that. But, yeah, the Red Bull clearly not able to switch its tyres on potentially as quick as possible. We'll stick around. We'll listen to some interviews with the drivers or some analysis to see exactly what has occurred. So, I'm speaking fast while unconscious. Check the info on Hamilton incident. Yeah, well, that's probably going to take a bit of time to be resolved. Tulligans, we'll try and stay as live as long as possible for that. But I do believe that they'll probably want to listen to the drivers, maybe call them in, listen to the engineers, etc., and then make a decision from there. So, yeah, it's not decided yet whether or not Lewis Hamilton will be starting from P4. I think impeding... Is it a free-place grid penalty? I think impeding is a free-place grid penalty. So, yes, let's have a look at the final sector times, shall we? And look at that there, how quick the McLarens were. Oscar Piastri, did he take too much out of his tyres in that first sector? It's only a few hundredths of a second quicker than Lando Norris. But did he potentially lose a bit of grip because of that? I don't know, but... It's definitely something to be considered. He lost, importantly, over half a tenth on Lando in the middle sector. And then when it came to the last sector, Lando just had him on toast, really. But let's hear what Oscar Piastri's got to say as he's being interviewed now. Charles will finish first, there's no doubt. Well, it's not over and done with yet, especially with how we've got very different strategy options for tomorrow. Who's the blonde with Lando's dad? Oh yeah, I think he's had an unofficial girlfriend for quite some time. So, Night Lab, good to see you, mates. Thank you, Mr. Song. Yeah, thank you guys for the kind words as always. Hopefully, if you're new here, hopefully you'll be sticking around and you'll be tuning in tomorrow. And of course, yes, we don't just dip off like other streams do. We stick around, we discuss what has occurred, and we take it all in. We soak it all in. I need to do that. I need to take a breather. So I hope you guys stay tuned for listening to the interviews. As Piastri does just say, he goes, I've had more wobbles this weekend than I've had in my whole career. So, yeah, Oscar Piastri admitting himself hasn't quite been on form this weekend. Of course, going into the barrier into turn one yesterday would have hurt his confidence for sure. And the only way to improve your game is to play against better, stronger, smarter opponents. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, look, Lando will be taking big confidence from that. Of course, there'll be lots of doubters for Lando. You see it online all the time. I don't think there's any driver that gets as much hate as Lando. I think he gets more hate than Lewis Hamilton does, which is saying something, which I think is unjustified. I think it's unjustified that Max gets hate, and I think it's unjustified that any driver really does get hate, even Lance Stroll, because they're all out there trying to do their best. Well, some more than others, but still, you have to respect the fact of it. They have to get out there. So Charles Leclerc, he's being interviewed now. He doesn't look a happy bunny, understandably. Oh my God, he looks... I've never seen someone so upset to qualify P2. Oof, his body language and his face. Oh, thank you, David. Much appreciated, mate. The mediums didn't work for the Williams. No, it doesn't seem... Well, they weren't able to... So that's what Sainz struggled with as well. So if we just remove the sector times, they both... It seemed Williams really needed that second outlap to get their tyres in the right window. And Sainz obviously struggled to get through and switch his tyres on. Albon was able to in Q2, but then when it came to Q3, he wasn't able to. And that last lap there, that you can see, 11.2, that's only a tenth quicker than Sainz there. And I think Albon's lap might have been even quicker in Q2. So, yeah, but Liam Lawson, by the way, can we just say, Liam Lawson... this is definitely what he needs. He needs a clean race tomorrow. Keep it out the barriers. Keep it out of the the wheel arches of other drivers, and just ensure that he brings home some solid points tomorrow. Of course, Hadjar has qualified ahead of you, but this is the confidence builder you need to try and build upon. So yeah, him getting into Q3 and out qualifying Sonoda as well in P12. He'll take good stock from that. Let's reach 45k. It'd be much appreciated, guys. Yes. The channel is really growing, and you guys seem to like it. I said it yesterday. It seems to be that the retention is really good, and you guys, once you do discover this channel, you do seem to stick around. So big thank you, and for returning to watch my watch along and my streams and my content, because ultimately there's lots of us doing this out there now, and it is quite difficult sometimes to stand out. But I feel what we do here is unique and special. So yeah, thank you guys. It was an exciting session, but even more exciting commentary. Thank you, mate. I do try. Even if the race is super boring tomorrow, I'll try and make the stream as interesting as possible. Those sector times basically mean nothing because they are not from the same lap. Exactly. Yeah, it is a bit tricky. Speed traps. I mean, yeah, I can check speed traps. It's not really the be-all and end-all, though, is it? Let's have a look at the speed traps here. Obviously, top speed is as irrelevant as... This is the most irrelevant track for top speed. But you can see there, Lando Norris just slightly quickest there, 225, just over Max Verstappen. Very close there. The speed trap itself, Charles Leclerc and Hamilton are up there. Lando Norris is 2 kilometers an hour down in the speed trap, which is no doubt at the end of probably the start-finish straight, I do presume. Yeah, because the finish line is 274. So, but Sector 2... No coincidence that Leclerc, Norris and Piastri are the quickest. So that means that they're able to get on traction, rear traction quicker. Look at Hamilton, 209. Max Verstappen and Hamilton, 209 is their fastest Sector 2 speed trap time, which I would presume is probably through maybe the tunnel, and the exit of the tunnel. And that would be all dependent on how quickly you can get out of throttle. It's all about your exit, no doubt, through turn 8. And the speed that you can carry through there. And yeah, that clearly shows, doesn't it? Look, the top 3 all equal in their speedometers there. And then Verstappen and Hamilton, who are quite some bit off the pace. As we look at the times again, Hamilton 4 tenths back, Verstappen 7 tenths back. It's quite telling, isn't it, really? Thank you, Foster. I appreciate it, Steady. Why are they commenting on the track? Why am I commenting on the track? Do you mean because of TV coverage? TV coverage is copyright infringement, so we can't do that. Is this the most difficult track to drive on the calendar? I think the drivers would probably say so, yes. Singapore, maybe, because of the... Singapore's also pretty high up there, although there's more room for error at Singapore. In relation to how on it you have to be, I think Monaco is definitely the top there. So speed trap is the end of the tunnel, is it? Oh, okay. So where's the Sector 2 time then? So thank you, Lovermore, much appreciated. Yeah, thank you for the kind comments, guys. It will be exciting with the mandatory 2 pit stops. It will be, yes. So tomorrow, I mean, I'm so looking forward to the Pirelli graphic that we always review. I want to see what occurs. This is multi-viewer, so you do need a TV, an F1 subscription to utilise this. But yeah, what we do here is transformative. So that is why we're able to do what we do here. So, hey, Taco, good to see you, mates. Great showing from Lando. Yeah, unbelievable. What tyres will they use tomorrow? Well, that's the question. I think there'll be a couple of hard compounds tyres used. We did see a few drivers use that compound, though. So I think, really, it's going to be a medium and soft. I think that's what they may be predicting. But yeah, really interesting. The Mercedes have got to try something different tomorrow, don't they? Outside the box, starting P14 and P15. That provides us some intrigue to see what they do with their strategies there. But yeah, those starting at the back, they're going to have to try and do something different, aren't they? So Twitter has Lewis Hamilton apologise to Max Photo. Maybe they'll let them slide. Who's my favourite driver? I've always been open with it. Lewis Hamilton has always been my favourite driver. But yeah, I support the Brits. I support a few other drivers as well. I wouldn't say I dislike drivers. I'm not that big of a fan of some of the drivers. But I respect everyone who's out there and what they can do in F1 cars at the end of the day. So, and ultimately, I'm a fan of F1 and I want to see great I want to see great racing. So, when did Max qualify? As you can see on the standings there, P5. What happened to Mercedes? Yeah, if you're just tuning in, guys, George Russell, that mechanical issue, lost power. The second mechanical issue, the second they've had in a row, weekend-wise, with Antonelli last weekend, George Russell now. But at least they have an opportunity tomorrow with this mixed-up strategy, with this mandatory 2 pit stop, or at least compound changes. We do have some variability tomorrow. Can everyone pray right now? You don't have to be religious. We are praying to Formula 1. But there is no red flag tomorrow. We do not want red flags. Okay? Can we all agree upon that? Because that will neutralise any strategy. We want no red flags. Say it with me now, guys. No red flags. No red flags. Okay? Because it's just going to ruin any race. It's going to ruin anything. We know there's no overtaking here. So the only intrigue we've got is the strategy. Why not at the beginning? Because it means they're able to wipe off one of the... If there's a red flag tomorrow at the beginning, it wipes off... It ends up becoming a boring Monaco race as it did the previous years. It's just a normal Monaco race again. Because it ends up cutting out one of the mandatory pit stops, isn't it? So... but yeah, is that the lap record by 0.2 of a second? Wow, is that really beating the Monaco lap record? Shows how quick these cars are. Yeah, last year was a 10.2, so I don't think that was the record. But yeah, let Ferrari be Ferrari tomorrow. Oh god, oh god. I'm still keeping the Ferrari jersey I'm still keeping it in the wardrobe, guys. I'm not breaking my promise to you. What about Max start on medium instead of softs? Yeah, do you know what? I'm generally a bit baffled by what the strategy options are tomorrow. If you probably want to start on the softest compound, to be honest with you, because you want to try and get as much grip as possible. But then you also might be thinking about, well, I want to go as long as possible. And they need to be thinking about the drivers behind as well. This is the thing, is that the front runners aren't going to be able to control the pace as much as they like. As in, go as slow as possible and not worry about the field. Like, because at the end of the day, if the field bunches up, you're going to have a few in there that are going to go, well, we're going to pit early so that we get clean air and we catch up to the back of the field, you know, because you can go multiple laps, you can go multiple seconds quicker a lap. So I think what we're going to see tomorrow primarily is we are going to see the front runners try and go as quick as possible. They're going to try and build a gap, build themselves at least a free pit stop, because if something does happen with a safety car or a VSC, they can take advantage of that. It also ensures as well that if they back up the pack, as I said, if they back up the pack, then they're removing the early pitters kind of out of the equation, so that they don't jump them. Because that's what Mercedes will probably try and do tomorrow. That's what that's what a lot of the drivers may try and do tomorrow, is try and do that, who are out of position. They'll try that early pit stop to try and gain something. So from strategy perspective, Red Bull leads and Ferrari unfortunately tends to mess things up over the years. It just missed. Yeah, I mean, Ferrari actually have had the fastest pit stops of anyone this season, but the strategy is still a little bit left to be desired. Gohan, thank you once again, bro. $9.99. Thank you, buddy. Cheers to your family, bro. What do you think Alonso's chances are for this race? He's personally your favourite driver. So, Alonso, the Aston Martin does seem to have made a bit of an improvement. It all depends on strategy. It really does. I think he can be best of the rest for sure. Could he sneak a top 5? Yes, I think the Aston Martin, by the looks of it, in his hands, can get a top 5. But it all depends on the strategy. We know that, unfortunately, Aston Martin cocked up their strategy last week in Imola, and they cost him a decent result. It's cost him his first points of the season. But yeah, Alonso's probably a driver who will probably want a boring race tomorrow so that he can score his first points. But he'll be looking, no doubt, to probably want to get better than that. But yeah. Where's Goku? Catch you later, Mike. Good, welcome. You support the red flag around 20 laps when Norris goes in and then the leading Leclerc puts on the softs, pulls away and pits again. Back in the lead, of course. So, I mean, there's so many different potential scenarios tomorrow. So looking forward to it. Will we see a 1.5 second stop? Oof, I mean, that's pushing it, isn't it? Wouldn't that be a world record? Colapinto pits twice at the start and Briatore does Briatore things. Oh my God, I did not even think of that. Imagine the scenes if he does. Imagine if... I tell you what, if we see Colapinto crash... if that happens, we see Colapinto crash after making 2 early pit stops, I am going to be... full conspiracy. You'd like to think that Colapinto would say no and would think better of it, but if Lewis start on hards and just go long, maybe a red flag. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. I think that we could see a real mix-up of tyres at the front of the grid. Or maybe they'll all start on the same tyre and they'll just go with the flow. You just have to... I don't think you can predict for a safety car. That's the thing. These teams will not be... The only drivers that will be hoping and maybe predicting for a safety car will be those who are out of position already in the bottom 10, Mercedes. But those who are in the top 5 will be thinking maybe Red Bull will be a bit more aggressive because we know that they're a bit more aggressive and a bit more risky on their strategy. We can always rely on them for that. But I think the top 4 in particular, they'll be thinking more so about just race as normal. Let's see how this race pans out. So... with tyre dead low, getting that first stop out of the way may be a way to go. Then you couldn't really worry about making it to the end. Anyway, it's a real tricky one because you don't... The likes of Ferrari, the likes of McLaren could pit very early and they come out and they make up the time so sharpish on the back of the field, which they will do on the likes of Colapinto, Gasly, Behrman, etc. But then just by the time they catch them, they just lose so much time because then that next pit stop they make... The guys out up front have got clean air. They're able to pull away. So there's so many different scenarios that they have to take into consideration for tomorrow. But I'm all here for it. So I'll do my best to try and keep you guys informed. It's going to be I'm going to have my work cut out for me tomorrow, guys. So I hope you reward me tomorrow with obviously if you yet to hit the subscribe button. I hope you reward me with that. After 3 races without a win from pole and 6 races without a Norris win, we have to be realistic and say Lando will win this one and close the gap to Piastri. He could do. Yeah, he could do. We'll see. I mean, let's say the grid finishes as it does tomorrow, right? Norris, 25 points. Piastri, 15 points. 10-point gap closed. So that means that it will be 3 points between Norris and Piastri. Verstappen would lose ground on both of them, but not by a lot. I think he would go out to just over a race win. I think, what is there? Is there 3 points difference between third and fifth? So, yeah. Do I even think with a two-stop pole has a much higher chance to win here than any other track? Without safety cars, potentially yes. Because pole position could just go as quick as possible. So the difference now, as I mentioned earlier on, pole position has always had control of the pace here at Monaco. But normally what happens is that they do one of two things. They try and build out that early pit stop window, or they try and back up the pack. And they wait for everyone to pit, and then there ends up becoming a natural pit stop window. What I think we'll see tomorrow is just those front lot try and go as quick as possible. So, can I update on the Hamilton situation? Yes, I can. Let me have a check. Normally the FIA will issue it. Let's see. Is there anything? Oh, Charles was fuming on the radio. Charles was fuming. This first lap, well, oh my God, effing and blinding on the radio. Not surprised whatsoever that he is fuming. As I said, on it, it was Lewis apologised to Max. Oh my God, yeah, he did after the Monaco Grand Prix, after the qualifying. Ooh, still to be investigated. Lewis did apologise. Yeah, it was a mix. If you listen to it back, it was definitely a mix-up from the Ferrari engineers. They told Max was going quick, and then they said he was slowing down. So Lewis then got a little bit of a move on, and then Max was there, and Lewis was like, "Oh, you told me he was going slow." Let's have a look. Nothing yet. Nothing yet for from the FIA guys. Nothing yet. One thing is for sure, Red Bull and Mercedes are not winning. It's the first Ferrari-McLaren battle of this year. Oh, yeah, kinda. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you could kind of say there was a battle, kinda, in the sprint race at China, but Piastri was way far behind Lewis at that point, wasn't he? So, do I like Monaco as a track? I like it as a driving track. I like it for the qualifying. The race, no. I don't like watching it, but that's why I'm intrigued and looking forward and highly positive about the potential tomorrow with this two-stop strategy, because it does provide us intrigue and something to look forward to. But as an actual race, no, there's better tracks out there, of course. Oh, that's disappeared. Let's change scene. Woo. Is it a good strategy to make a first stop on the very first lap? If you're out front, no. If you're at the back, probably yes. Yeah, I think so. I think we'll see maybe quite... I reckon we'll see at least... What's your guess, guys? Shall we have a guess? Hang on, let's do a poll. Let's not have a guess. Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. How many... I'm still yet to set up tomorrow's stream, by the way, guys. So I will be setting that up straight after this. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do... Let me know what you think. How many drivers do you think are going to pit tomorrow on the first lap? None? 1 to 3? 4 or 5? Or more than 5? How many do you think are going to pit first tomorrow? On the first lap tomorrow? I think Alonso should retire. There are a lot of young rookies. I think he's got one more year, isn't he? He's got one more year, and then I think that's it for him. 2026 is the end of his F1 career, I believe. Who remembers Senna qualifying the McLaren MP4 back in the day? I was too young for that, Dana. But yeah, I have seen obviously the highlights of that for some time. It's repeated quite a lot, isn't it? And rightfully so. It was a brilliant lap. New to the channel, what happened to Kimi? Hey, Dynasty. Kimi unfortunately crashed. He did what did he do? He did what Isaac Hadjar did yesterday, but with his front tyre. So he ended up, unfortunately, he clipped the entry to the chicane. And because of that, he had no steering input and went straight into the barrier. So that's why Kimi... And that was at the end of Q1, but he qualified, he got through Q1, and because he couldn't participate in Q2, he starts 15th tomorrow. And then George Russell had a power unit issue. His engine just cut out, and he had to retire as well. So they're starting 14th and 15th tomorrow. How did drivers get track limits for Monaco? It's when they go straight on at the chicanes. So there's a couple of chicanes here, aren't there? The one out of the tunnel, and then there's the second one after the swimming pool, where they go through it to just obviously avoid traffic. So they don't penalise them for that. The first corner will decide. Well, the first corner is always important at Monaco. It always has been. That's not going to change here this year because of the fact that we've got 2 pit stops. But yes, it is still super important for who can control the race, who is able to... Because dirty air is still a factor at Monaco, as we know. And McLaren is much quicker in clean air than it is in dirty air. It's not a car that is this all-supreme car when it gets in the dirty air of another. So... if Lando's able to lead into the first lap, into the first corner, then I can see him just putting out a tremendous gap. So, but we'll see. Used to love watching Senna outdo Prost. Yeah, I wish I was around for that battle before my time. I was born in '91, guys. Pick my top 3 tracks where Williams have podium potential. So you're going, Stuffeyy, you're automatically gone to the low downforce, the high speed tracks, haven't you, where low downforce is required. I would say that's not the case anymore. I don't think Williams is that sort of car that relies solely on low downforce. It used to be, but I think it's a much more balanced car now. In relation to podiums, unfortunately, I don't think there's any track that I think they got potential of scoring a podium. The only way they're going to score a podium is if there's like some collisions ahead of them. Unfortunately, I just think the other teams around them and drivers, they're just still too quick. So, but that doesn't mean that it's not possible. It's a very long season. But yeah, they're in the best position. I think they're the next best car, next best team to be in a position to score a podium. But yeah, I don't think on performance outright they'll have an opportunity of that, unfortunately. They'll need some assistance. Where's the best overtaking on track? On the track for overtaking? Nowhere, as we mentioned earlier. Not here. we see very little overtakes here. Unless we see the C6 tyre completely fall off a cliff tomorrow and some drivers are able to be better on it. I don't see really any overtakes at all tomorrow. It's all going to be in the pit lane and so forth. So, what do you guys think of this take? I think that Oscar Piastri pushes super hard on that first corner and gets past Leclerc. No, I don't. Well, I mean, maybe he could do. We have seen drivers from third place get into second place before because second place is so focused on first and a gap opens up for them. It's not out of the realms of possibility. No, and Oscar has had good starts of late, although Imola was probably his worst start overall. But yeah. Did I make a decision on Lewis yet? No, Daniel, not yet, guys. So in relation to Lewis Hamilton, I'm still waiting an update. I'm not sure if they're going to make an announcement just yet. We do have a provisional qualifying, so that is obviously provisional. Penalties have not been applied. We know Ollie Behrman's got a penalty incoming because of that 10 red flag infringement yesterday. Lance Stroll's also been investigated for impeding Gasly, so he'll probably get a penalty, but he will start 19th anyway. Or would he start dead last? I think he'd start dead last because his penalty would have been issued after Ollie Behrman's. So I think that would put Stroll dead last tomorrow, actually. And Lewis Hamilton, we mentioned, yeah, could be a 3-place grid penalty. Could be a 1-place grid penalty. I think impeding has always been 3 places, but who knows with the FIA right now? They're so inconsistent, aren't they? My pleasure, Pats. I'm not keen on the race, no, but I'm quite, as I said, I still have my expectations are low, which is why I'm praying for no red flags. I suggest you guys do the same. And yeah, I think I am quietly optimistic, though. I'm really intrigued, and I don't normally feel like that after a Saturday qualifying at Monaco. So The first lap pit stop will be unpractical now with 2 stops. You could lose 5 seconds behind Colapinto. Yeah, well, I don't see any of the front runners doing it, no. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll see gaps. Maybe we'll see them wait for gaps. I really don't know. I don't know what they're going to do tomorrow. Yeah, who knows? At the moment, you guys, well, what are you suggesting? You suggested... At the moment, you think more than 5 people, more than 5 drivers, 22% will pit on the first lap. 27% of you think none. 35% of you think 1 to 3. I think someone's going to do it. I really do think someone's going to do it. I'm going to end that poll, by the way. I think someone's going to do it. Max is finished in P5 at the moment. He could maybe gain a position if Lewis Hamilton gets a penalty for impeding, but that is where he is at the moment. So, yeah, not good. 7 tenths back. I think that's definitely Max's largest margin in qualifying this year, which I'm going to check for you guys, actually. So that really showcases how poor, really, that qualifying was for Max. I thought it'd be a lot closer than that. I didn't think it'd be pole, but I thought it'd be a lot closer. He could still start on the second row tomorrow, but... The Red Bull has struggled with slow speed corners this year. So let's have a look at this season. So Australia qualifying. Max was 3 tenths behind Lando. 3 tenths behind Lando. Just under 4 tenths behind Lando in Australia. China qualifying. Max was 2 tenths behind Oscar Piastri. Japan, we know he was on pole. Bahrain qualifying, Max was... Okay, so 6 tenths. Yeah, so 6 tenths was Bahrain difference. Max qualified 7th. Oscar was 1st. Saudi, we know he was on the pole position. Miami, we know where he qualified there on pole. Emilia was... Yeah, so, yeah, Bahrain and this have been the 2 tracks where he's been... the widest margin. So, do I think Lewis will get a penalty? I think he'll be lucky to get away with one, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think he'll get it. I think he will get that penalty. I'm refreshing to see if he's been dished it out or not. Just bear with me. Nothing as of yet. Nothing as of yet. So, what's the best track in my opinion? Silverstone. British bias, but it is, I think, the best track in the world. Never a boring race there. Strategy would be to pit after a crash. Doing a Briatore. Oh, Flavio Briatore is back. Someone mentioned it earlier. Flavio Briatore is back. So, do I think that Monaco tomorrow will be my most viewed stream again? Potentially. You can never predict how YouTube is going to push your stream. You can never predict how many people... are interested in a race. Last week we had a bit of a lower viewership than normal. Still really good viewership, but a bit lower because there was lots of sports that was happening. It was there was like the first race in Europe, so of course middle of the day for most for a lot of viewers. But today, I can tell you today we had just under. I was hoping we'd maybe get 10,000 viewers. We had 9,800 peak viewership today in qualifying, so that's still absolutely amazing, guys. I mean, Jesus, if you told me last year that I'd be getting qualifying sessions of over, like, pushing 10,000, that'd be, I would have told you to go and do one. But yeah, potentially tomorrow. So my highest is just under 20k. That was the Bahrain Grand Prix. So we'll see if tomorrow we can beat that. It'd be amazing if we can do. If we don't, we're still getting consistent viewership. So that's what I mean. It's peak viewership is all good. It's more of a vanity thing, really, than anything. But it's the average viewership, how long you hold that viewership for, and returning viewership as well, which is what we're very high on. So big thank you, guys, for continuing to tune back in and stick around. How much would the grid penalty be for Lewis? Potentially three places, I think. Potentially 3 places. I'm going to stay on for just a little bit longer, not too much longer. I'll probably stay on for another 10 minutes, and then I will call it a day, as I need to go and get a breather. I'm hot and sweaty after that. Commentating's hard work, guys. Trust me. It's I hope I burnt a few calories doing that. Or maybe it's just the light. Maybe it's just the light that's making me sweat. Who is my midfield GOAT of the hybrid era? I think Checo is a very, very good midfield driver. So, Lots of new F1 fans don't know that quali is actually sometimes more fans than the race, more of this season. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely super important. Of course it is. So every few races, you'll be breaking your viewership peak because you're yeah, I mean, look, we're moving in the right direction. That's it, Gavin. So we're moving in the right direction. That's it. You only watch to see my co-presenter. She's there at the moment. Is your mum still there? Oh, okay. No worries. Do I think Ferrari can catch up with the front guys? No. No, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't. Unless they decide to really put some development into this season, which they may do. But I think they're most likely going to only focus on Monza again. They'll focus on bringing in some updates for Monza. They'll focus, as we know, that they were going to focus on Monaco because of Charles. But I think, I don't know, the gap's too big. The gap's too wide. They're better off focusing on 2026, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I like them to because it would be great if there's another challenger to the world title and challenge McLaren. But I think Max and Red Bull are going to be that challenger. So I'm a good commentator. Thank you, guys. Yeah, thank you. Keep the, as I said, keep the compliments coming. It's nice. It's nice to hear. Last week, Piastri had to stay on an old set at the end with 3 tyres needed here. Does everyone have fresh 3 available? I don't know, to be honest with you. We'll find out tomorrow. So tune into the pre-race show, Jeremiah. We will have a look at the Pirelli graphics to see what tyre allocations they have available to them, and of course the potential pit stops. I'm interested to see what Pirelli have got suggested as their pit stops for tomorrow. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. You wonder how many teams have a sports psychologist given the young age of the drivers and the competitiveness this season. I would presume that they do all have a sports psychologist, Hussam. All professional sportsmen have psychologists now pretty much today. Whether you utilise them or not, I don't know. But I would presume that they all have someone on their books, yeah. Waiting to hear about Lewis Hamilton. Nothing as of yet, guys. Still nothing as of yet. So I think it could be one that we're waiting on for a little while. Yeah, still nothing yet. If you want to check out, and if you want to know how I know if Lewis Hamilton has been got that penalty for impeding, head to the FIA, at FIA on Twitter. That's where they post all of their documentation for like the stewards' rulings and stuff. So yeah, if you go there, the FIA, just at FIA on Twitter, that is where they will post when it's ready their ruling on it. So appreciate what I do. Always glad to listen to my work. And thank you, Gohan. Yeah, I love F1, guys. As you can tell, I can talk forever about it. But that's it, guys. I'm done. I need to go rest, put my feet up, I think. Pour myself a drink. I think we deserve it after that. Big thank you, as always, for tuning in, for hitting that like and subscribe button again. What are we at, subscriber-wise? I don't know what we're at. I know we've gained numerous amounts, so thank you, as always. Continuing to grow this channel. So, yeah, hang on. Just listening to Max, actually. So, yeah, Max stating, I struggled. We've got no mechanical grip in the slow corners. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why you tune into this live stream, because I do actually pay attention to what's going on in F1. I predicted Red Bull would be struggling in the low-speed corners, as they have done this season. From the horse's mouth, Max Verstappen himself says they just struggled with mechanical grip in the slow corners. Bosh. Well, there we go. On that note of being absolutely correct, the Red Bull struggling here this weekend. Still not to say that they can't do something with their strategy tomorrow. We know the Red Bull team is aggressive and risky with their strategy, and I expect them to do something of the like tomorrow with Max, with him starting P5, potentially P4 with Lewis Hamilton's impending penalty. We will see. So yes, have a lovely rest of your Sunday. Go get some rest. I'm going to do the same, and we'll be back bright and early for the Monaco Grand Prix tomorrow. Hit the like and subscribe button. I'm going to go set up the stream now. Go bookmark it, go hit your bell notification so you're notified half an hour before I go live. And we'll be live an hour before the race begins so that we can have a look at the in-depth strategy options for tomorrow and what could potentially happen. So yeah, have a lovely rest of your Saturday. I'm wishing time away. Have a lovely rest of your Saturday. We're in for a very good Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.